Chapter 601. Shen Yin walked to the first floor. The ship was very big. There were 3 floors on the top floor and 4 floors, including the cabin. The ship was also full of soldiers. She saw cannons on the top floor and the head of the bed. It must be a modified warship. She followed Shen Yin into the first floor. Someone came to take off Shen Yin's coat and hung it on the hanger respectfully. As soon as she came in, she felt hot. She looked at Colonel Chung, who was standing next to her. No one helped him take off his clothes. He was also wrapped up tightly and did not take them off. She didn't dare to take it off. Shen Yin looked back at her. "Don't you feel hot?" "Yes," Lu Shuang said in a low voice. Shen Yin pointed at the hanger in the right corner. "Take off your coat and hang it there." "Okay." Lu Shuang immediately ran to the corner and took off her heavy down jacket. She felt much more relaxed and hung her hat, gloves, and scarf on the hanger. The clothes rack, which was originally tall and big, felt a little out of place after she hung her clothes on it. "Come here," Shen Yin urged. "Okay." She saw Shen Yin standing there waiting for her, so she ran to him. Colonel Chung wiped his sweat. "Aren't you going to take off your coat?" Lu Shuang asked. Colonel Chung smiled. "I didn't get the president's permission." Lu Shuang. Shen Yin heard it and looked at Colonel Chung. "Colonel Chung, you must be tired after such a long journey. You can go and have a rest. Assistant Lu will take care of me." "Yes." Colonel Chung nodded and left. Lu Shuang scratched her head. Without Colonel Chung, she was worried and didn't know what to do next. Shen Yin walked in front. When they arrived at the door, he said to the guard at the door, "Serve the dishes. Assistant Lu will eat with me. Prepare the dishes together." "Yes." The guard nodded to Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang had seen him before. Last week, when they were entertaining the Prime Minister, the head bodyguard was also there. She thought of something. "Shun." She paused, looked at the guard around her, and nodded respectfully. She put her left hand on top of her right hand and pressed her hands on her abdomen. She said calmly, "This subordinate is afraid. You seem to have forgotten something important." Shen Yin pursed his lips. He couldn't help but smile. "Are you talking about the reward you received from me? Mr. President is wise." Lu Shuang felt that Shen Yin was quite smart. "Didn't you reject it?" Shen Yin teased her on purpose. Why didn't she remember rejecting him? She couldn't argue with him in front of so many of his subordinates. "After I went back, I thought about it again and again. Although I felt that it was my duty to protect the Prime Minister, I felt aggrieved if I got nothing. After thinking about it, I really shouldn't have rejected your kindness. After all, a soldier who doesn't want to be a general is not a good soldier, and an employee who doesn't want to be rewarded is not a good employee. Although you rewarded me, it was mainly a way to improve the morale of the soldiers. You told the soldiers that working for the president was worth risking our lives. I shouldn't have done it. I almost made a big mistake. Please reward me, President." Lu Shuang said seriously. Shen Yin couldn't control herself and grinned. He knew that she was eloquent and had a glib tongue. She was also very smart, but she was lazy. "Got it. I didn't forget. I have ordered it. It will be promulgated at the next meeting," Shen Yin said and walked to the table. A woman in a black suit with her hair in a bun pulled out a chair and stood aside after respectfully asking Shen Yin to sit down. Lu Shuang took the chair and sat opposite Shen Yin. The woman in the black suit glanced at her with displeasure, frowned, and signaled her to stand up. Lu Shuang stood up in confusion. Shen Yin turned back and said to the woman behind her, "I asked her to have dinner with us." "Yes." The woman nodded respectfully. Lu Shuang sat down carefully again and looked at the woman's face. The woman stood expressionlessly with her eyes down and didn't look at him again. Lu Shuang cleared his throat. He didn't know what she should do next. Shen Yin looked at him and explained, "You just came back from abroad, so you are not familiar with many people in China. She is Secretary Zhang's daughter, Jiang Jing. She is in charge of some internal affairs. You can call her Executive Jiang." Lu Shuang guessed that both Secretary Jiang and Executive Jiang were Shen Yin's favorites, so he looked at her with a commanding look just now. "Hello, Executive Jiang. I am Assistant Lu." And Jiang Jing responded with a cold and aloof tone. "She belongs to me and will only listen to my orders in the future. Your father may not have time to tell you," Shen Yin said to Executive Jiang. She also meant that she had no right to order Lu Shuang around. Executive Jiang got it. He nodded respectfully and said softly, "I see." The guard captain walked in with the chef, and the delicious smell came to their nostrils. Lu Shuang's stomach was growling with hunger. The chef put 2 trays in front of him and shun in and opened the lids. She saw that she had steak, vegetable salad, foie gras, aperitif, borscht, pasta, and fruit. Then she looked at Shun Yin's. The steak was bigger than hers, the salad was more, and the fruit was better. In addition to the pasta, there was also a super big lobster. She suddenly felt that it was unfair. "Mr. President, do you know that there is a famous general in China named Huo Zubing?" Before Lu Shuang could say anything else, Shun Yin pursed her lips and couldn't help but laugh. She could see through her at a glance. She wanted to eat his lobster. When he goes to war, he lives and eats the same as the soldiers. Therefore, he is very loved by the soldiers. "He is an admirable general who always wins," Lu Shuang said. Shun Yin still didn't change her expression. Seeing that he still didn't understand, Lu Shuang continued, "Only in a feudal society will people be divided into different classes. But this kind of unfairness will often speed up the demise of the feudal society." "You are quite knowledgeable about politics," Shun Yin said meaningfully. "Continue." Lu Shuang was speechless. She was a little angry. She felt that Shun Yin was deliberately pretending not to understand. For example, she picked up a piece of lobster from Shun Yin's plate and bit into it. It was delicious. The meat was juicy and bouncy. She could tell that the lobster was cooked alive with a lot of soup. She swallowed it and continued. "The kings in ancient times would let their subordinates taste the food first. Just like what I did just now, they thought it was quite high-end, but in fact they just ate a table full of leftovers." Another example. Lu Shuang picked up another piece of lobster and put it into her mouth. She ate 2 pieces and smiled happily. "They actually don't know that lobster can't be eaten with a lot of fruit. It will make them weak." And then Shun Yin asked with a straight face, "It's better to be happy together than to be happy alone. It's better to die together than to die alone, right?" Lu Shuang said. Chapter 602. Lu Shuang looked at him in surprise. "I also want to be a beloved monarch. What you said makes sense. This is your reward," Shun Yin said. Then she looked at the guard captain and said, "Just prepare the same food for me and Assistant Lu." "Oh yes." The guard captain nodded respectfully. For a moment, she thought he was so manly. He was not her type. After dinner, Lu Shuang was too full. But he couldn't go back to bed in front of so many soldiers. She was Shun Yin's assistant. She would follow him wherever he went. Shun Yin walked towards the door. Lu Shuang followed her. He entered the study. There were books on the shelf. He took out a forensic records and sat at his desk, flipping through it. Jiang Changxing came in with a cup of coffee and put it beside Shun Yin respectfully. "You can leave now. Assistant Lu is here," Shun Yin said without raising her head. Jiang Changxing frowned slightly and looked at Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang looked at her unhappy eyes. He had a strange feeling and lowered his head. Jiang Changxing came to her and said coldly, "The president likes to drink freshly brewed coffee. Can you make it?" Lu Shuang nodded and then shook his head. She nodded because everyone knew how to make coffee. She shook her head because she felt that Jiang Changxing didn't want to leave. Besides, he was very unhappy that she took his job. She wanted to let her make the coffee. "You nodded and shook your head. Can you make it or not?" Jiang Changxing raised his voice slightly. Shun Yin's eyes were sharp. "I don't want to drink coffee today. I have nothing to do tonight. Assistant Lu, make tea for me." Jiang Changxing's face turned pale. No matter how stupid he was, he could feel that the president was protecting Assistant Lu. She lowered her eyes and left the study. Lu Shuang locked the door and looked at Shun Yin. "I don't think it's good for you to do this. It's not your style to say something like that," Shun Yin said, lowering his head to read his book. "No." Seeing that he was ignoring her, Lu Shuang ran over and leaned on his book, not letting him read. She said, "When I was in high school, there was a girl. My class teacher spoiled her very much and gave her the best. Everyone else wanted to study at night, but she didn't want it. Everyone else wanted to do exercises, but she didn't want it. She's sick and resting in the dormitory. The homeroom teacher will visit her. All of us hate her, understand? That woman is you, right? Shen Yin asked. Lu Shuang paused. How did you know? What do you have that I don't know? Shen Yin said with certainty. Her eyes were dark and burning as she looked at her. Lu Shuang had a guilty conscience. After all, she had too many things to hide. This is not the point I want to talk to you about. For example, if you embarrass the bodyguard because of me, the bodyguard will hate me. If Jiang Chongqing loses his job because of me, he will panic about unemployment and his future. He will also hate me. You don't want everyone around you to hate me, do you? Lu Shuang said. She was reasonable. So what? I don't hate you. Other people are angry but dare not to say anything. You don't need to pay attention to them. After you marry me, they must listen to you. If you don't like them, you could directly fire them. Shen Yin said domineeringly. I don't think it's a good idea. High-key people will die quickly, dear. Lu Shuang had concerns. Shen Yin sneered and clamped her face. She said in a strange tone, Why do I feel that you always attract the people at the top of power? The class teacher, Jiang Yimi, who else? Of course not. Lu Shuang pushed Shen Yin's hand away. His face was full of pain. The class teacher takes care of me because he is my father's good friend. My father told him that Jiang Yi and I are just neighbors. It's not the kind of relationship you think. Lu Shuang said with a guilty conscience. Once upon a time, she wanted to treat Jiang Yi as a partner. Unfortunately, her plan was not as fast as the changes. Before she tried, she impulsively went back to China. If Jiang Yi had confessed to her earlier, perhaps, according to her character, she would have accepted him impulsively. Only as a neighbor, right? Can a neighbor travel thousands of miles to find you? Shen Yin didn't believe it at all. She raised the corner of her mouth, which made Lu Shuang feel gloomy. You are so annoying. Lu Shuang turned around and ignored her unhappily. She stood in front of the bookshelf and looked at the many books in it. Every successful person had something in common. For example, there were many books. She remembered that Gu Lingqing's office also had a lot of books. Unfortunately, she didn't expect that his life would be so short. If being smart meant dying early, she'd better be stupid. Her phone rang. She was about to answer it when Shen Yin snatched it away. When Shen Yin saw the caller ID, her eyes turned cold like an ice house. Speak of the devil. He really came. Who is it? Lu Shuang craned his head to have a look. Shen Yin didn't give him a chance. She answered the phone, turned around, and walked to her desk. She said coldly, What's the matter? Jiang Yi heard Shen Yin's voice. He paused for a moment and asked kindly, Is Lu Shuang around? Shen Yin looked at Lu Shuang, who craned his head to look around. Her eyes were shining. She just took a shower and is lying on the bed now. She is too tired. Tell me what's the matter. I'll tell her when she wakes up. Lu Shuang was speechless. She felt that her Prince Charming had flown away. When Shen Yin was hateful, she was not just any ordinary hateful person. She said she was too tired, lying on the bed, and had just taken a shower. These were all some kind of suggestive description. Chapter 603. Shen Yin, if I had the intention to go against you, I would have exposed Abayo or told Jiang Xingyu, but I didn't. So, don't doubt my sincerity. I don't want to hurt her. I like her, maybe more than you can imagine. I don't fall for anyone easily, but she made me fall for her. I want to be with her, love her, protect her, and give her happiness. If you really like her, you should let go. You know that the two of you are not suitable for each other. I believe that she is not someone who is willing to be the woman behind someone else's back. Jiang Yi said it with confidence and maturity. Perhaps it was because of his experience, it was convincing. Shen Yin gritted her teeth. Her eyes were as deep as a bottomless lake, and her breath was even colder. How long have you known each other? It's only been half a year. I've known her for more than 15 years. Do you think it's interesting? Love has nothing to do with the length of time you've known each other. Some people could be together for a lifetime, but never fall in love with each other. Some people can only be seen for 10,000 years. I believe that she likes me too. Please give her the phone. Jiang Yi said calmly. Shen Yin sneered. You dream on. She won't be using this number anymore. You don't have to call her anymore. Shen Yin was so angry that he hung up the phone and locked Lu Shuang's eyes. Lu Shuang felt that his gaze was murderous. She shivered and had a bad feeling. He walked towards her with heavy steps, as if he was shrouded in black smoke. Wherever he went, everything would become barren. It was the first time that Lu Shuang saw Shen Yin so angry. She took a few steps back and retreated to the door. This was Shen Yin's territory. Where could she retreat to? Even if she ran, she couldn't run away from him. Do you want some tea? Lu Shuang looked around and asked with sparkling eyes. Shen Yin walked in front of her and stretched out his hand. Lu Shuang thought that he was going to hit her and turned her face away. He held the side of her head and locked his eyes on her. Do you like Jiangyi? No, who said that? Why would I like him? He's an uncle. Lu Shuang denied immediately. Shen Yin looked into her eyes. Lu Shuang frowned and told herself that she couldn't feel guilty. She looked like she was going to eat her. She had a good impression of Jiangyi, but not to the extent of liking him. Then why did you expose me just now? Shen Yin continued to ask. I don't know. Lu Shuang feigned ignorance and slipped under his armpit. I don't know. Lu Shuang said that. I don't know. Shen Yin didn't know. At that time, she really didn't think that way. She just felt that Shen Yin's words made her feel embarrassed, so she directly refuted him and didn't think much about it. I don't know, Lu Shuang said. He tightened his grip on her hand, clearly dissatisfied with the answer, as if he wanted to break her hand. Lu Shuang felt the pain. Shen Yin, let go. It hurts. Pain will teach you a lesson. Shen Yin said sternly, I won't allow you to contact him again, not even by phone. I'll give you a new number when we get back. You don't need to use this number anymore. It's fine if you don't need it. Do I have a right and freedom? Let go of me, my hand is really going to break. Lu Shuang's face was pale from the pain. He let go of her hand and returned to his seat. He was still angry and smashed the coffee cup in his hand on the ground. There was a loud bang, and the killing power was extremely great. Lu Shuang was afraid of Shen Yin. He was so gloomy. Being in the king's company was like being with a tiger. He was fine just now, but now he was furious. It was better for her to leave. After all, a man's heart was like the moon in the water. It was not reliable, especially a man like Shen Yin, who was so high and mighty. When he liked her, he would keep her by his side and dote on her. But when he didn't like her, he would kill her. Shen Yin saw that she was standing still and far away from him. He ordered coldly, clean up the floor. You can leave now. I can leave now. Lu Shuang did not want to face him now. She did not wait for Shen Yin to speak. She saw his sharp gaze and hurried out. Seeing that Executive Jiang was still there, she smiled and said, The president's blanket is on the floor. Please go and clean it up. The president said that I can leave now. I'll leave first. Executive Jiang frowned. Because the room was made of titanium alloy and soundproof, no one outside could hear what was going on inside. Therefore, Executive Jiang did not know what was going on inside. However, she did not like Lu Shuang very much. He was too careless. She pushed the door open and saw the broken glass on the floor, as well as the president's livid face. The room was filled with low pressure. It was very quiet, just like the calm before a storm. She did not dare to say anything. She took a cloth and kneeled on the floor to wipe it. Shen Yin clenched his fists tightly. He looked at the book, but he could not read a single word. He stood up and walked out. Lu Shuang went out. She did not know where he was going, but she entered the room next door. The room next door seemed to be a conference room. It was empty except for a sofa. She lay on the sofa to rest and looked at the white ceiling. Actually, she should have kept a low profile. She should not have made Shen Yin angry. Why could she not control her mouth and temper? In the past, she had her parents to protect her. She could speak without thinking. But now, she really could not do that anymore. She felt a little sad and her heart ached. She closed her eyes. When she went to Formless and saw the name list of their members, she would find a murderer who killed her mother and let Shen Yin bring him to justice. Then, she would leave. She fell asleep in a daze. She did not know how long she slept. She heard hurried footsteps outside and was woken up. She had a headache. She turned over and continued to sleep. The door was pushed open. Sir, there is no one here. She heard the voice of a soldier, followed by the sound of the door closing. She got up and glanced at the door. Were they looking for someone? Sigh. Anyway, it was none of her business. She continued to lie down and sleep. After some time, the door was pushed open again. 3 soldiers ran in. 2 of them ran to her and said in surprise, "Sir, we found her." She heard the voices outside. "Found her! Found her! Found her!" Were they looking for her? Lu Shuang sat up in confusion. Because he had slept, his face was red and he looked confused. "What happened? Assistant Lu, we have been looking for you for 3 hours. The president is angry," a soldier reported. "Looking for me? Why are you looking for me? I have been sleeping here all this time." Lu Shuang scratched his head. He was in a daze. After a while, Shiniyin came in. His face was frighteningly gloomy. He said sternly, "Get out, all of you." "Hello, I am Qin Tangtang. You can follow me on WeChat." Chapter 604. Lu Shuang saw his red eyes and bad temper, so he hurried to leave. Although he didn't know where he was going, he knew it was right to leave. Shiniyin grabbed her hand and flung her hard. Lu Shuang didn't stand still and fell to the ground. She looked at him in confusion and was furious. She was about to lose her temper, but then she thought about it again. What happened to keeping a low profile? She resisted the urge and climbed up alone. She pursed her lips and looked at Shun Yin's sharp eyes that looked like he wanted to devour her. "Is it fun?" Shun Yin said sternly. Lu Shuang rolled his eyes and looked at the air beside him. When Shun Yin saw her unruly look, he became even more furious. Not being able to find her, he was about to go crazy. His entire nerves were stretched taut. He was anxious, worried, panicked, and angry. All of these emotions combined together, making him about to explode. He couldn't bear to lose her again. "Say something," Shun Yin ordered. His chest was heaving violently because of his anger. "What do you want me to say? I'm not playing. What is playing? What is fun? It's ridiculous." Lu Shuang still couldn't suppress his anger. "So you purposely disappeared, purposely made me anxious, purposely hid, purposely." Shun Yin judged, flames leaping in his eyes, burning fiercely. "What do you mean by disappearing on purpose? What do you mean by making you anxious? What do you mean by hiding? This is your ship. Can I disappear? Can I hide? You asked me to go out. Fine, I'll go out. But where can I go? So, I chose the room closest to your study to sleep. My phone was confiscated. I have no friends here and no one to talk to. What else can I do except sleep? You are angry one moment and angry the next. I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you always angry at me? What did I do wrong? Because of you, my mother died. Because of you, I don't have a home. Because of you, I became so lonely and miserable. Why are you angry at me? Why do you have to be angry at me?" Lu Shuang retorted angrily. She thought of her mother, her father, in the past. There were some things that she didn't want to think about. Thinking about it would make her sad. But sometimes when she thought about it, it was really sad. If Shun Yin hadn't pestered her and used her parents to threaten her, she wouldn't have had to alienate her parents and hurt their feelings. Ultimately, Shun Yin was also responsible for her mother's death. She lived a peaceful life by herself. How could she have made such an enemy? Lu Shuang turned around. Tears flowed out of his eyes. He wiped his tears, but they were still flowing. No matter how hard he wiped them, they still flowed. So, he simply stopped wiping them. What was the point of crying? Shun Yin had been bullying her since she was young. Seeing her crying, Shun Yin's heart ached. The hostility in her gradually disappeared. Jiang Yi said that he liked her, and it didn't seem like he was lying. He didn't care about others, and he didn't think that they could surpass him. Even if they did, he would make them die miserably. But he was afraid of Jiang Yi. Other than his outstanding looks, mature, and steady temperament, he also had a sage-like demeanor. This was something that he had never seen in others. He was a mysterious, sophisticated, and unfathomable man. He was really afraid that she would be snatched away. Compared to Jiang Ye's carefree attitude, he indeed had too many concerns. The less confident he was, the angrier his temper became. He knew that he shouldn't be, but he couldn't control it. Facing her, he couldn't be rational, and his emotions were too volatile. He hugged her from behind. Lu Shuang twisted his waist to resist. He buried his head in the crook of her neck and took a deep breath. Even though she used the same shampoo and shower gel as him, he felt that she smelled especially good. He didn't say anything. What are you doing? Weren't you angry at me just now? Lu Shuang's tone was a little resentful. I thought you left. I couldn't find you anywhere. Shen Yin's voice was slightly choked. Where can I go? This is the boat. You were the one who asked me to go out. I don't know where to go. You even confiscated my phone. It's all your fault. Lu Shuang looked at him. She was the one who should be wronged. Okay? She saw that Shen Yin's eyes were red and her heart trembled. Was he going to cry too? From what she remembered, he didn't seem to have cried before. Seeing him like this gave her a strange feeling. It was sour, and there was an indescribable emotion. Maybe it was heartache. She didn't want to argue with him anymore. There were more important things to do. She turned around and faced him. Don't be angry, okay? It was my fault for exposing you on the phone. I always spoke without thinking. You know that. I'll change next time. I'll try my best. Shen Yin cupped her face and covered her lips with his cold lips. He kissed her deeply and said in a low voice, Don't leave me, no matter what happens. Lu Shuang paused. She had made up her mind to leave before she went to bed. She didn't have time to answer him. Shen Yin's eyes turned cold again. Even the temperature of his palms was freezing. You still want to leave, right? You came back to use me to take revenge. Now that you're done, you're ready to leave, right? Lu Shuang felt that he was angry again. He hurriedly said, Not really. Then what is it? Shen Yin asked. Her temper was almost worn out by Shen Yin. When you treat me well, I don't want to leave. When you treat me badly, I want to leave immediately. Shen Yin was stunned. This was indeed in line with Lu Shuang's character. Anyway, you're not allowed to leave in the future. If you run away again, I promise I will break your legs and scratch your face after I catch you. You can try it if you don't believe me. Shen Yin warned. He was actually just scaring her. He knew that she loved beauty and was afraid of pain. If she really left, he would die of heartache. Don't you like me? Lu Shuang thought about it and felt a little scared. I feel a little like a pervert. So don't run away. Shen Yin said in a low voice. Lu Shuang didn't want to stare at this problem. He rubbed his stomach and changed the topic. Shen Yin, I'm hungry. Do you have supper? Shen Yin stared at her. Lu Shuang was really afraid of him when he was angry. She stood on tiptoe and kissed his lips. Only when you are full will you have the strength to work. Do you still want it? Shen Yin held her waist, pulled her to his side, and hugged her tightly. She was almost out of breath. Pushing his shoulders, she realized that he would be angry, so she put her arms around the back of his neck and forced a smile. You're still angry? Then I'm going to suffer for a few days. It won't be hard for you. Go back to the room first. I will ask someone to send it to your room later. Shen Yin said in a hoarse voice. Lu Shuang smiled and pinched her face. You scared me to death just now. You're still so cute now. You are so pitiful that no one loves you. Shen Yin said in a strange tone. Of course not. I don't think 2 trains can fit the one who loves you. Lu Shuang flattered. Chapter 605. Got it. Let go of me first. If we stay here longer, your subordinates will think too much. When you go out later, you have to pretend that you're still angry at me. Then, don't let them find out about our relationship. Lu Shuang reminded and let go. Shen Yin was still hugging her. The people outside are all my trusted aides. He's just a trusted aide. Many people died because of them. It's true. I've seen a lot of similar news about high-ranking officials being removed from their positions. They were all reported by their trusted aides. Lu Shuang said sincerely. The more she didn't want others to know about their relationship, the more he wanted to announce it to the world. There's something I need to tell you. Jiang Yi knows that Debao is my child. Based on my relationship with Jiang Xingyu, who knows when they'll capture Debao to threaten me. So, I've already transferred Debao. It's moved. You know where Debao is? Lu Shuang opened his eyes wide in shock. What do you think? Shen Yin asked. Lu Shuang was speechless. She had a bad feeling about this. Her mind exploded. Now that Shen Yin had found Debao, it would be difficult for her to escape in the future. What should she do now? When Shen Yin saw how stunned she was, her eyes darkened. She let go of her hand and walked outside with a livid face. Lu Shuang's face was pale as he jogged behind him. There was no need to pretend. Everyone knew that the president was very angry. Assistant Lu was going to be unlucky. Colonel Chung also noticed that something was wrong. He pulled Lu Shuang aside and asked in a low voice, "What did you do to make the president angry?" "I think I'm the one who should be angry. F***ck my debeo." Lu Shuang wanted to cry, but had no tears. "What debeo? Is it painted on your face? There are other moisturizers on the ship." Colonel Chung was puzzled. Lu Shuang realized that he had said something wrong. It was so tiring to be a human and not be able to speak freely. "I have other things, it's fine. Come with me. I've arranged a room for you. Talk to the president later." "This is the first time I've seen him so angry," Colonel Chung reminded. "Okay." Lu Shuang followed Colonel Chung to the top floor and entered a room. Colonel Chung left and closed the door for her. She sat on the sofa, shaking her feet. She was worried, but there was nothing she could do. From the beginning to the end, she was a person without the strength to trust a chicken. She hated herself for not being capable. If only she could be like Baya, who could do whatever she wanted. That would be great. With a creak, Lu Shuang looked in the direction of the voice. A secret door was opened, and Shunyan walked in. "What did you take Debeo to?" "I'm a little worried about him," Lu Shuang said worriedly. "Don't worry, he's in a safe place. After I marry you a year later, I'll let him return to my parents' side," Shunyan said in a low voice. The implication was that if she left, she would never see Debeo again. However, she couldn't show any objection. "How long will it take for us to reach the shore?" Lu Shuang asked. "An hour." "Okay," she answered with flagging interest. Knowing that Debeo was in Shani Yin's hands, she was not in a good mood. "What's wrong?" Shani Yin asked coldly. His eyes were emitting cold light, and his heart was twitching. Although he asked why, in fact, he could guess what Lu Shuang was thinking now. Because he could guess it, he felt very uncomfortable. "I want to see Debeo," Lu Shuang said. Shani Yin smiled and came to her. She put her hands on both sides of her body and stared at her. "For Debeo's safety, we can't see him for the time being." "Isn't your friend the same?" Gu Lingqing hid their child. "If you really want a child, we can prepare for pregnancy now. When we get married, we can also hold Xiao Bao. What do you think?" "Don't. It's also dangerous, okay?" She pointed at her head. "Are you confused here?" "Yes, I am. Do you remember what she said to me in the meeting room just now? Didn't she ask me if I wanted it?" "I want it," he said, sitting next to her and looking at her with a devilish charm. Lu Shuang paused, and the anger in the room became very strange. "Now, I haven't eaten yet. They're going to do it. It will take at least half an hour. There is still time. Eating after exercise will make your appetite better," Shunyan Yin said coldly. She also felt cold, but she didn't move. "How long do you need to think about it?" Shunyan Yin asked coldly and looked at her with drooping eyes. There was no lust in his eyes. Lu Shuang felt that he couldn't avoid it, so he sat on his knees and put his arms around the back of his neck, but he didn't want to do it at all. "Shunyan Yin, can we do it tomorrow?" Lu Shuang asked politely. Shun Yin sneered. "What do you think? Tomorrow is another day, and there are other things to do tomorrow." Lu Shuang lowered his eyes in disappointment. Shun Yin reached out and brushed her hair behind her head. "Why? You keep lying to me? You know that I know where the bow is, and you feel that you can't escape, so you're sad?" Lu Shuang frowned slightly and looked at him in panic. Shun Yin smiled. His coquettish eyes were still beautiful, but because of his cold pupils, there was a hint of coldness. "It's not like that," Lu Shuang said. She was afraid that he would ask what it was like. She kissed his lips to prevent him from asking. Shun Yin didn't respond to her, nor did he say anything. He looked at her coldly, as if he was an emotionless statue. She continued to kiss him, and her red tongue entered his mouth, mixing with his cool breath. He still didn't respond. She felt a little defeated. Every time he flirted with her, she would easily lose her bottom line. He was much harder to flirt with than she was. "Shun Yin, you don't want it?" Lu Shuang asked. "Continue." He said these two words simply. She took a deep breath and adjusted her mood. She undid his tie, the buttons on his suit, and the 2 buttons on his shirt collar. She kissed his Adam's apple. He looked down at her coldly. She observed his expression. He didn't seem to be in love at all. She unbuttoned his shirt, hugged his back, and stopped moving. Shen, I'm very bored when you do this. Give me a response. How should I respond? Kiss you, or do I want you? Do you want it? Shen asked in return. Don't you know whether I want it or not? Lu Shuang said ambiguously. His large palm slid down the waist of her pants. She didn't struggle and looked at him awkwardly. He scoffed. How many more lies do you have? Come, say it all at once. She couldn't say it clearly. She kissed his ear and said softly, I want it really. He looked at her, trying to determine if she was telling the truth. Lu Shuang blushed. He grabbed his arm and cleared his throat. Can you feel it? Chapter 606. It was more suitable for her to let Shen take the initiative. She didn't want to be questioned again, so she unbuckled his belt, unzipped it, and let him go. He easily took off her clothes, held her waist, and lifted her up. Lu Shuang gasped and looked at Shen, noticing that his eyes were still cold. Things are already like this. How long was this fellow going to keep his temper? She twisted her waist and stared at his expression. Be more serious, you are too dry. Shen frowned. Lu Shuang, then don't be angry. It is just a small matter, right? Lu Shuang tried to please her. You just need to be obedient every day. Shen said with a deep voice, I want you to take off the ring. Will you do it or not? It is very painful to give birth to a child, and my figure will be out of shape. I only want to bayo. Lu Shuang refused in a roundabout way. I want a few children. One is too lonely, and I'm under too much pressure. So, you have to take off the ring. Shen said, domineeringly. You are not the one who will be in pain. Lu Shuang resisted. I also want to give birth to a child for you. Except for a few things of principle, I can do whatever you want. Shen promised. Lu Shuang knew that he couldn't avoid this topic. Shen must be paranoid. Then when we get married, I'll give birth to a child for you. I'm serious. If I can't do it, I'll be disfigured. That should be fine, right? I don't think it's appropriate to give birth now. You have a beautiful assistant by your side, and the beautiful assistant doesn't have a husband, but she's pregnant. Other people will guess that it is you. Lu Shuang tried to reason with her. Anyway, it was still a problem to get married. Where did this beautiful assistant come from? Shen asked. Lu Shuang paused for a moment. What he meant was that she was not a beauty. She was really, really angry. She stood up, but he pressed her back down again. She snorted softly and looked at him with furrowed brows. Fine, you're a beauty, okay? Shen corrected herself. So, you're not angry anymore? Lu Shuang asked. First, you're not allowed to contact Jiangyi, let alone meet him, Shen requested. Sure, we haven't known each other for that long anyway. She had no choice but to agree. Second, you are not allowed to leave me. Lu Shuang nodded and agreed. Thirdly, when I first met you, you were already not good-looking. I don't care about that. So, I want to have at least 2 children in the future. 2 children that truly belong to the two of us, like you and me. Shen Yin's voice softened. Which part of me doesn't have a good figure or looks? Lu Shuang frowned. I feel like I'm being suppressed every day when I'm with you. My confidence is almost gone. You only need me. For there's more. Lu Shuang interrupted him. Last time, you said that I can have a wish. There's no more 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can I? Gio, stop seducing men. Be more pure. God has destined us to be together. You're thinking too much. It's just your imagination. Shen raised her voice. Lu Shuang said, You can't have Gio. I feel that you've become smaller, really. Shen knocked her head. I told you to be more pure. You'll forget it soon. Got it. Then I won't do it anymore. Lu Shuang immediately climbed up the pole. Shen gritted her teeth. She hugged her, turned around, and put her on the sofa. Then, she pressed her legs on top of her head. She felt that this position was too embarrassing. She protested. Shen, I'm here, he said, and picked up the tie on the sofa. She sensed danger and wanted to get down, but he was too strong. She couldn't break free. Shen, you can't play like this. How? Let me take a good look at you. Shen said hoarsely. Don't. She didn't want to. Basically, her protest was useless. To a certain extent, She really felt that Shun Yin's skills were not bad. Although she was embarrassed, she felt that she couldn't lie to herself for him. Shun Yin was very satisfied with her reaction, but he didn't get it to her. Lu Shuang was annoyed. Shun Yin, you can't be so bad. Don't women love bad men? He smiled wickedly. Then hurry up. Hurry up. She frowned, and her gaze became unfocused. Shun Yin was bad. He was bad to the core. She had to guard against him next time. Then, are you still leaving? No, I'm going to get angry if you do this again. She was serious. She would really get angry, but it was more like torture than what he was doing. Shun Yin smiled, and his abs moved closer to hers. Lu Shuang let out a long breath. Do you like it? Shun Yin asked ambiguously. Lu Shuang pursed his lips and looked at him, but he didn't say anything. Then I'm going out. He pretended to leave. I like it, Lu Shuang said helplessly. She hadn't tried other men, but Shun Yin's skills must have been learned from Yonyo. He untied his tie and finally put her down. When it was over, the ship had docked. Lu Shuang lay on the bed and didn't want to move. His legs were sore. Shun Yin wanted to take a shower. She didn't want to take a shower. She turned around and looked at the door with her back facing the bathroom. When she heard the door open, she said, "Where's my supper? Didn't you say that it would be served in half an hour? The ship has docked, but there's still no supper." Shun Yin laughed. Lu Shuang glared at him. It was all this guy's fault for being crazy today. You're still laughing. I think you should be full. Haven't you fed enough? Shun Yin smiled and walked over. She didn't want to talk to him anymore, so she covered her face with the quilt. He pulled the quilt down and kissed her forehead. Lazy pig, go take a shower. I don't want to take a shower. Lu Shuang protested. Then you still want supper? Shun Yin asked gently. Lu Shuang thought for a while. She still had to wake up for supper. She didn't have the energy to eat now. I don't want to eat either. Are we going to go ashore? Look at you, can you still walk? Shun Yin asked. Lu Shuang rolled his eyes at him again. Shun Yin pinched her nose lovingly. Sleep on the bed today and go ashore tomorrow. Okay. She closed her eyes to rest. Shun Yin returned to his room and opened the door. Colonel Chung was standing respectfully outside the door. When he saw Shun Yin, he nodded. Is supper ready? Shun Yin asked. Yes, it's in the kitchen now. Should I bring it over? Colonel Chung asked. No need to bring it over. We're not going ashore today. You can have supper. You've worked hard today. Get up a little later tomorrow. Su Jiran ordered. Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. Shun Yin patted Colonel Cheng's shoulder. She's still a child. Please bear with her. Understood. Colonel Cheng nodded. Then I'll go back to work. Shun Yin nodded, closed the door, and returned to Lu Shuang's room. She had fallen asleep like a little pig. He slept next to her and let her pillow on his arm. Lu Shuang found a comfortable position in his arms and continued to sleep. Chapter 607. Shun Yin was faster than him and pulled open the black curtains. Lu Shuang sat up and found that the wall was made of glass. He could see the coast when he pulled it open. What happened? Lu Shuang asked. Shun Yin frowned and made a call. He said coldly, Do you know what happened? The invisible force set up a fake thunder ray this afternoon. I don't know why it suddenly exploded. Maybe an animal accidentally stepped on it, Colonel Chung reported. Check the surveillance. There should be surveillance at the place where the fake thunder ray was set up, right? Shun Yin asked. In order to make the maneuver more realistic and to prevent the soldiers from finding the fake thunder ray according to the surveillance, the maneuver tomorrow will be monitored by unmanned cameras. They have already sent someone to the scene to check the situation. That's all for now. Shun Yin's eyes turned solemn. He hung up the phone, closed the curtains, and looked at Lu Shuang. You woke up in shock? Why was there a bomb? Lu Shuang was surprised. In a real battle, the enemy will bury landmines in the ground. As long as one steps on them, basically no one will survive. In a drill, in order to ensure the safety of the soldiers and to get closer to the display, they will prepare imitation lightning bolts. Simply put, it's an air mine. It won't explode people, but it will make a loud noise, Shun Yin explained. Did someone step on it just now? Shun Yin smiled and said softly, It could be an animal. There are wolves, bears, and other small beasts on the island. Isn't it very dangerous? Lu Shuang was a little scared. She used to watch movies and often saw a group of people go to a deserted island or a remote and strange place to play. Basically, 90% of the people would die. She thought that those people were really stupid. It would be better to stay at home and watch movies. Why did they go to such a dangerous place? The soldiers are armed with guns. Besides, they all know martial arts. These beasts are no match for them. Shen Yin sat on the bed. Can I not go to the island tomorrow? Can you bring everyone's information to the boat? Lu Shuang asked. You're the safest when you're with me. I have a schedule to come here, so I have to attend. Don't worry, the island is full of my people. As long as I'm alive, you'll be fine, Shen Yin promised. Lu Shuang nodded. Tomorrow, she would know who the person who wanted to kill her was. Once she found that person, she would be safe from now on. She wouldn't have to worry about being afraid. Are you still sleeping? Let's sleep. Shen Yin lifted the quilt and lay on the bed. Lu Shuang couldn't fall asleep and looked at him. He did not sleep either. He kept his eyes open, thinking, are you worried that it's not the work of a wild beast? If it's a human, it'll be terrifying, Lu Shuang said worriedly. Shen Yin looked at her. Actually, what is it? Lu Shuang asked. Shen Yin sat up and made a call. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings, 4 rings, 5 rings. Hello. Bai Ye's hoarse voice came from the other end of the phone. Did you send someone to the uninhabited island? Shen Yin asked directly. Bai Ye paused and replied, yes, I'm worried about your people. I need to ensure Lu Shuang's safety. Your people stepped on the mine as soon as they arrived. Send me the photos of your people. Bai Ye was silent. I know. If you want Lu Shuang to be safe, you'd better not touch my people. I know. If it's not necessary, don't let your people act rashly, Shen Yin said and hung up the phone. Lu Shuang vaguely heard something. He sat up and said, I heard my name. Bai Ye sent someone to the island to protect you. She's quite knowledgeable about you, Shen Yin said. Lu Shuang looked down and fell on the bed. He stared blankly at the air for a while and turned around with his back facing Shen Yin. He said in a low voice, every time I think of her, I'll think of my mother's death. What she did was not what a friend should do. At least, she should have told me about your whereabouts. She shouldn't have lied to me along with all of you. I asked her to do it. I promised her that I wouldn't disturb your life. I just want to know that you're safe. She didn't tell you because she was afraid that you'd reject her. She could tell that I like you, so she wanted to matchmake us, Shen Yin explained. It's different. She's my friend, not yours. I might forgive her, but I won't be friends with her anymore. I won't do it again, Lu Shuang said softly. He said it to himself. She was so hurt when she was betrayed by her friend. Shen Yin hugged Lu Shuang's waist and pulled him into her arms. I'm enough for you. Lu Shuang didn't say anything else. His thoughts ran wild and he was worried. After thinking for an hour or two, his pajamas attacked him. When it was almost dawn, he fell asleep again. After some time, she woke up. Light shone through the gap of the curtains. It was very bright. She looked to her side. Shen Yin was no longer there. She put on a blanket and opened the curtains. Outside, there were many soldiers. They were orderly and disciplined, standing on both sides. In the middle, there were more than 10 men wearing masks. Lu Shuang recognized them. They were Shen Yin's formless clothes. Shen Yin was also standing on the dock, talking to one of the men. This man was also wearing formless clothes, but he didn't cover his face. If the people who wanted to kill her were among those formless clothes, wouldn't it be faster for her to stand here and look at them? Lu Shuang quickly closed the curtains. He looked outside through a gap. There was a knock on the door. Lu Shuang went to open the door. Colonel Chung stood at the door respectfully. The president asked you to get dressed and go to the dining room for dinner. Oh, I got it. Thank you. Lu Shuang closed the door and took out the suitcase Shen Yin had prepared in advance. He took out a black suit, tied up his hair simply, and only applied moisturizer. He didn't even put on any makeup. He went out to the dining room. Shen Yin was already in the dining room. He was alone. Executive Jiang was not there. There was a thick stack of documents in his hand. Come over and take a look. What do you know? All the information is here. As soon as Lu Shuang heard that it was formless information, she immediately went over. She didn't even eat breakfast. She flipped through the documents one by one. After reading all of them, there was no one. She looked again, but there was still no one. Are you sure they are all here? Lu Shuang asked. There are 276 people in total. Yes, they are all here. Shen Yin frowned slightly. 276 people. Are you sure the photos are of the person? Do your soldiers know how to PS? The PS photos don't look like the person. Lu Shuang decided to look again, but there was still no information of that person. I clearly saw that he was wearing formless clothes. Hello, everyone. I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 608. Clothes are easy to copy. Maybe he did it on purpose? Shen Yin reminded him. I don't think so. If he did, he could have just shown me his clothes. Why did he show me his face? But why is there no information about that person here? Lu Shuang covered his head and looked at Shen Yin in confusion. Shen Yin frowned when she saw him like this. Don't worry. I have just ordered that there will be a condolence in the morning. All the invisible people must show up. Follow me and see them one by one. If you don't see the one you saw, it might not be an invisible person. In fact, he also thought that it was an invisible person. That way, the motive would be reasonable, and only the people around him would know his whereabouts. They would only hurt Lu Shuang, not him. However, if it was not an invisible person, the problem would be serious. What was his purpose? Why? Lu Shuang sat on his seat like a defeated rooster. If it is not an invisible person, who could it be? I found out that it was a foreign mercenary last time. Don't worry. If it is an invisible person, even if you don't recognize him, I can still find him. Shen Yin said with certainty. I can only rely on you. I'm not smart enough. Lu Shuang nodded his head. Eat breakfast first. It's getting cold. Besides, when you follow me to the condolence, don't show that you are here to look for someone. Can you do that? Shen Yin reminded him. Lu Shuang made an okay gesture. No problem. I will calmly slap them in the face. I will absolutely not reveal any flaws. She lowered her head and ate her breakfast. Shen Yin pushed his share to Lu Shuang. Eat more. What are you going to eat if you give me everything? Besides, I can't eat so much. Lu Shuang pushed his breakfast to her. Remember, when we are on the island, do whatever I ask you to do. Don't be more than 1 meter away from me. Do you understand? Shen Yin said seriously. Lu Shuang took a bite of the bun and nodded. You're the only person I know on the island. If I don't follow you, who else would I follow? Monkey? I'm not stupid. Are there monkeys on this island? Just don't run around blindly, Shen Yin said and lowered her head to eat breakfast. Lu Shuang peeled an egg and asked, Do you eat egg yolks? No, what's wrong? Then I'll throw it away. I won't eat it either, Lu Shuang said as he peeled the egg white and ate it. Shen Yin passed the egg on his plate to her. Here you go. You ate the egg white. You don't want it? Don't your cooks know that you don't eat eggs? Lu Shuang asked suspiciously. Shen Yin knocked her head with the egg. I eat eggs. Didn't I save them for you? Lu Shuang rubbed his head. Since he was absent-minded, he didn't want to argue with him. Thank you then. She took the egg from Shen Yin's hand, peeled the eggshell clean, and ate the egg white. Her mind was wandering. If it wasn't the invisible man, who could it be? Her head hurt just thinking about it. After breakfast, Shen Yin looked at her deeply. Lu Shuang touched his face. There was nothing there. What's wrong? Go to the room later. I'll send the clothes you want to change into, Shen Yin said in a low voice. What clothes? Lu Shuang was puzzled. Aren't all my clothes in the room? Clothes for combat, Shen Yin said. Combat? What kind of combat? Lu Shuang was confused. There's a drill in the afternoon. We're also in the middle of the drill. Follow me, Shen Yin said. Lu Shuang. I say, Shen Yin, are you crazy? I'm following you to find the person who killed my mother. I'm not your soldier. I don't need to participate in the drill. I don't rely on this to make a living. It's not necessary for me to participate. Lu Shuang opened his eyes wide. Then why do you think military training is necessary when the school starts? Shen Yin asked. Lu Shuang twitched the corner of his mouth and said carelessly, That's because they have nothing to do after eating their fill. Shen Yin knocked on his head. That's to train the students' willpower and ability to endure hardships. Lu Shuang scratched his hair with his fingers. It turns out that the military training is indeed very hard. Then, after the military training is over, I still do what I should do. What are you training me for? I won't encounter such situations in the future. I promise I won't go to the deep mountains and forests for the rest of my life. Shen Yin's face darkened. Many things won't happen even if you don't want them to happen. All the preparations are for possible accidents in the future. This is training, and it will only do you good. I will teach you a lot of survival skills. If there is another accident next time, you'll be able to survive. If there's another accident next time, you'll know what to do. Lu Shuang, I want to protect you, but sometimes I can't be by your side all the time. I don't want anything to happen to you. Lu Shuang thought of her mother's accident, and his eyes dimmed. Indeed, if she had known how to fight at that time, maybe her mother wouldn't have died. No one knew what would happen in the future. Since Shen Yin wanted her to participate, she would participate. It would be good to try and learn. She made an okay gesture. I got it. Let's give it a try. Remember, don't be more than 1 meter away from me. Shen Yin reminded him again. Lu Shuang nodded. It's not that easy to get rid of me. Don't worry. Shen Yin smiled slightly. I'm looking forward to being stuck to by you. Lu Shuang had a strange feeling in his heart. It seemed that she really hadn't stuck to him before. She returned to her room, and soon, someone brought her clothes. The clothes were all green, including the vest inside. Lu Shuang took off his clothes, and Shen Yin walked in. He was still wearing his suit. Why don't you change? Lu Shuang asked, puzzled. I'll change after lunch. Then why should I change now? Lu Shuang asked immediately. So that you don't have to change after lunch. Lu Shuang, it didn't sound like there was a problem. She continued to put on the clothes, one by one. There were many sets, but the material of the clothes was very good, and it didn't affect her movements at all. Shen Yin didn't leave, but stood by the side and looked at her. Lu Shuang put on all the clothes and looked at herself in the mirror. She pulled the hem of her clothes and praised herself. I look pretty cool. She even gestured a gun with her hand and smiled. Shen Yin looked at her seriously. No matter what happens, don't take off your clothes. I'm not stupid. It's so cold. Lu Shuang smiled and sat on the bed. She leaned back and shook her legs. She looked at him and asked, When are we leaving? Remember to protect your head now. Shen Yin reminded her. Chapter 609. Shen Yin put a gun in her waist bag. There are bullets in the gun. Don't shoot unless it's absolutely necessary. Lu Shuang looked at him timidly. Will he die if I hit him? The gun is real, but it depends on where you hit him. Shen Yin said in a low voice. He held her hand and held it tightly. She didn't know why, but she felt that his expression was very serious, not at all like his usual devilish self. It seemed that something big was about to happen. Let's go. Don't forget to put on your down jacket before you leave the ship. I'll see you on the deck, Shen Yin said, and let go of Lu Shuang's hand. They went back to their room from the secret chamber before going out. Lu Shuang also went out and put on a down jacket. When she got to the vest, he was already there. He was wearing a black windbreaker over his suit. His hands were in his pockets, and his back was facing her. The hem of the windbreaker swayed slightly with the wind. He was like a jade tree in the wind, a clear breeze, and a bright moon. It was because he was wearing it. Was that the reason why he didn't wear it? She also felt cold, especially when the sea breeze blew over. She shivered and shrank her neck, but her mind was much clearer. This man, just looking at his back was enough to make one's imagination run wild. He was actually doing that with her. Thinking about it, she felt a little proud. Wahaha! Shen Yin turned back to look at her. His clear eyes and the majesty of a king made Lu Shuang pause. He gave her a completely different feeling from his usual self. She put away her pride and looked at him in confusion. He didn't speak to her, but walked towards the shore. Immediately, many people followed behind him. Lu Shuang also followed behind him. Soon, they reached the shore. There were more than 20 military officers waiting by the shore with their backs straight. There were also more than 10 cars. They were all very respectful to Shen Yin. They nodded together and didn't dare to raise their heads. Someone opened the car door. Colonel Chung sat in the front passenger seat. She and Shen Yin sat in the back seat. She looked at Shen Yin. Shen Yin looked ahead with a cold gaze. He had an unapproachable aura. She didn't dare to speak. She looked out of the window and listened to the sound of the waves crashing against the rocks. Because no one spoke, Lu Shuang felt the atmosphere was heavy and oppressive. He felt a little out of breath and took a deep breath. Her hand was held by someone, and it felt warm, as if it had given her strength. Lu Shuang looked at Shen Yin. He was still holding her hand and looking forward. He asked, "Is everything ready?" The driver said, "I'm ready. There will be 10 people in each group, and there will be a total of 27 groups. The teams will be randomly selected. Well, Colonel Chung, you, and the guard captain will stay in the control room and be in charge of commanding. Report to me immediately if anything happens, understand?" Shen Yin ordered. "Yes." Colonel Chung nodded in a businesslike manner. "Lao Zhou, has anyone sneaked out of the island recently?" Shen Yin asked. Lao Zhou's body was tense, and he reported with trepidation. "All the tasks are carried out according to the orders of the superiors. No one dares to disobey the military orders. So far, no secret operations have been found." "Really? I'll give you a task now. Do it secretly and don't let anyone know," Shen Yin ordered. "Yes, Mr. President, please tell me," Lao Zhou replied carefully. "This afternoon, most of the invisible special guards will participate in the maneuver, and only a few will stay at the base. I brought 100 pinhole cameras here. Install them according to the drawings I've given you. Don't tell anyone about this except for you. Not even Lao Tang or Lao Yu," Shen Yin said coldly. Lao Zhou said coldly. Lao Zhou suddenly understood why this maneuver was so grand and involved most of the invisible special guards. It turned out that it was to install the pinhole cameras. "I promised to complete the task." Shen Yin didn't say anything else. Lu Shuang was touched and looked at Shen Yin. He had done all that to protect her. If the person who wanted to kill her was really invisible, he would be able to find out their whereabouts immediately. Her heart was also made of flesh and blood. She had feelings for this friendship. Although he had forced her, imprisoned her, and didn't give her freedom, he had never hurt her. He had also given her a good life. This time, he had treated her even better. Even when she was living in his house, he didn't mistreat her at all. Nangon Yu bullied her. Even though he knew that he couldn't touch her, that it would endanger his political position, he still crippled her to avenge her. A long, long time ago, when she was still an adolescent girl, she had dreamed that in the future there would be a prince who could see her as an unpolished jade and give her a happy life. The prince must be handsome, gentle, considerate, loving, fond of, and tolerant of her. Her future son must also be like this. If her son was a prince, his daughter would be a real princess. However, that was just an unrealistic dream when she was a little girl. As she grew older, the dream of being a prince had long been abandoned in the dust of youth. For her, finding a mature and steady man who had a regular job, was not a playboy, and was not ugly was enough. After all, there were too few princes and too many girls in the world. She was not as smart as Baya, not as gentle as Baya, not as tough as Baya, not as mature as Baya, and not as ambitious and perfect as Baya. She was very ordinary. She was born in an ordinary family, grew up in an ordinary environment, and had an ordinary personality. She was so ordinary that she could be found everywhere on the street. Therefore, when Shen Yin said that he liked her, she didn't believe it. The gap between them was too big. Shen Yin married a wife and kept her in captivity. She didn't feel sad because it was impossible for her and Shen Yin to be together. She was not ordinary, or she and Shen Yin had been classmates when they were young. His father had the same status as her father. It was just that his father had become the president during the ups and downs of the political scene, and he had become a real prince. When she thought about it, it was incredible. When she was young, she also liked a certain idol group. The three little ones were also high school students. She thought that those who were classmates with the three little ones were very happy. They could meet celebrities every day, and as classmates, it was very easy to get autographs. Now that she thought about it, Shen Yin's classmates must also feel very happy. After all, they had been classmates with the president. Lu Shuang chuckled. She had even slept with the president. She could brag about this for the rest of her life. Hearing Lu Shuang's laughter, Shun Ian tightened his grip. Lu Shuang came back to her senses and looked at Shun Ian. When she met his coquettish eyes, she inexplicably blushed. When she recalled the details of what they had done last night, her face blushed even more. She cleared her throat, turned her face away, and looked outside. She opened the window slightly, letting in some cold air. Her face was too hot. Her face was too hot. Shun Ian also raised the corner of her mouth slightly, and there was a hint of warmth in her coldness. Lu Shuang saw a few houses not far away. They weren't tall. We're almost there. Chapter 610. Without Shun Ian's warmth, she felt cold on her hands. She closed the window and looked down. Could it be that she fell in love with Shun Ian? It was a strong feeling. She scratched her head. What if Shun Ian seduced her on purpose and then abandoned her after she fell in love with him? What if Shun Ian and Hua Zixing refused a divorce because of politics? What if Shun Ian got tired of her? What should she do? With his status, he could totally crush her. She could not call for help and would be KO'd. Get out of the car. Shun Ian reminded him. Okay. Lu Shuang saw them getting out of the car and quickly got out. In front of him was a crowd of people. Line up. Lao Zhou's voice was heard. Lu Shuang heard the voice, and a few people repeated the word, line up, in a dignified and solemn voice. She stood behind Shun Ian and felt a strong aura and passion. She had been in the army of Gu Lingxing, and they gave her the same feeling. She felt that those men were very manly and wanted to marry a soldier. Follow me closely, Shun Ian reminded him in a low voice. Okay. Lu Shuang followed Shun Ian immediately and saw that they were in 10 rows and 27 columns. There was a platoon leader in front of every 3 columns and a company commander in front of every 3 platoon leaders. The commander should be Lao Zhou. He was standing at the front. Those people had taken off their masks and put their hands behind their backs. Their feet were shoulder-width apart, and they stood straight with no expression on their faces. Shun Ian walked past them one by one and glanced at each of them. Lu Shuang looked at them too and frowned. Strange, there was no such person. Could it be that the person was not invisible? Then who was that person? After Shun Ian finished walking, she stood in front of Lao Zhou and asked indifferently, Is there anyone who is on leave or on a mission outside? Sir, no. Lao Zhou confirmed. Tell me the rules of the exercise in the afternoon. Shun Ian ordered coldly. Yes. He held a megaphone and stood in front of the crowd. This afternoon, apart from the 9 platoon commanders, 3 company commanders, and the commanding officer, everyone else will be participating in the drill. Randomly assigned, 10 people to a group, a total of 27 groups. The president will bring his people to fill in the spots, and each group will have one. The 5 flags were randomly assigned. On the flags were the words none, form, must, victory, and return. The group that obtained these 5 flags could return here and hand them over to me in advance. That would be the end of the competition. Understand? Understood, the warriors said in unison, their aura magnificent. The first place will be promoted by 1 rank and have 2 months of leave. The second place will be rewarded with 200,000 yuan and have 2 months of leave. The third place will be rewarded with 100,000 yuan and have a month of leave. The fourth place will be rewarded with 50,000 yuan and have a month of leave. The fifth place will be rewarded with 10,000 yuan. Emergency training. Old Zhou continued. Victory. The soldiers shouted their slogan. Lu Shuang looked at Shun Ian's expression. He really couldn't see anything from his secretive face. He only felt that his eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. If the president was ranked 6th or below, wouldn't it be very embarrassing? Was there a conspiracy? She felt that she would definitely be a burden. Now all platoon commanders and company commanders, please come and draw lots. Those whose name I call will be in a group, Lao Zhou continued. Each platoon commander and company commander would draw 10 people. These 10 people would be in a group, and it was completely random. After they drew lots, it was Colonel Chung, the bodyguard captain, and someone she didn't know. In the end, she was the second one to draw lots. She was very surprised. She was also qualified to draw lots. She felt it was unbelievable and embarrassed. She was trembling in fear and nervously drew 10 people. On the contrary, Shun Yin didn't draw any. She looked at the invisible people. She wasn't familiar with their names and code names, so she didn't feel anything. After calculating, they had 4 people left, so there should be 6 people on Shun Yin's side. Shun Yin, who else could it be? Lu Shuang looked at the people behind Shun Yin. All of them were expressionless and quiet. He really couldn't tell who was fighting with her. She saw Lao Zhou and Shun Yin whispering something, and Shun Yin nodded. She didn't know what they were talking about. The last group, congratulations to the remaining soldiers who didn't call out their names. You will be in the same group as Mr. President. They are number 008 Shun Gu, number 171 Zhang Jining, number 189 Wu Di, and number 234 Hang Tian. After Lao Zhou finished reporting, he looked at Shun Yin. Shun Yin nodded. The bodyguard captain stepped out and said in an imposing manner, Cheng Mingho, Zhu Jiang, Wang Bo, Han Qingwei, step out. Let the invisible people see the power of our guards. The 4 people whose names were called out stepped out and shouted confidently, Capital's number 1 guard. Let's see who dares to compete with us. Invisible soldiers, do you dare? Lao Zhou shouted. Dare, dare, dare. The invisible people shouted in unison. Lu Shuang, she really wanted to say that this bodyguard captain should be killed. This was clearly a drill of the invisible troops, but they made it seem like a battle between the bodyguards and the invisible people. He seemed to have forgotten that there were 4 invisible people in this team of 10. What did he mean by fight? If she was an invisible person and her own people went easy on their own people, wouldn't they win easily? The 4 of them had to fight 264 people. Were they stupid? Hey, Shun Yin, how did this bodyguard captain get promoted to the position of bodyguard captain? His intelligence is amazing. Lu Shuang approached Shun Yin and said in a low voice. Shun Yin's lips curled up slightly. His father is my uncle's brother. Oh, Lu Shuang understood. Nepotism. Shun Yin took the microphone. Seeing that you guys are full of fighting spirit, I'll arrange for the bodyguards to compete with the invisible people after the new year. How about that? Good. Lu Shuang couldn't help but applaud. Shun Yin was really smart. With just a few words, she brought back the topic that was led away. This was just an internal drill of the invisible people. The bodyguard captain was just an empty spot. Shun Yin smiled slightly. Mature, steady, and graceful. Every move she made was full of the nobility of a king. She passed the microphone to Lao Zhou. Lao Zhou said emotionally at the end, Soldiers, the president is here to express his condolences. We've worked hard for a year. Let's perform well for the president. Who is the best team? Invisible. Invisible is the best. Who is the bravest? Lao Zhou shouted. Invisible, 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 brave, fearless. We don't seek to be first. We just want to leave the first in the dust. Dismissed. Line up for dinner in half an hour, Lao Zhou said. Chapter 611. She thought of Gu Lingqing's army. Gu Lingqing was very strict and meticulous. From afar, people could feel his dignity, responsibility, and morale. Shun Yin's formless made her feel that he had the potential to be a joker. He was a kind of leader who led a team. As far as she knew, there were 3 elite teams in Country A. One was Gu Lingqing's Dark Shadow, one was Shun Yin's Formless, and the last one was Sheng Dongqing's. People called them Black Weasel, as if they were a team that existed in the dark. Anyway, the rumors were not good. The soldiers were dismissed. Shun Yin walked towards a room where he was received, and Lu Shuang immediately followed. She had been standing outside with Shun Yin for 2 or 3 hours. Her face was numb from the cold, and she could not feel anything. Her feet were also tired from standing. As soon as they reached Shun Yin's room, she took off her shoes and lay on his bed. Shun Yin looked at her. The training in the afternoon will be very tough. Lu Shuang looked at Shun Yin and did not say anything. We'll go eat with him later. Eat more, Shun Yin reminded him. When will this maneuver end? Lu Shuang asked. Not necessarily. If everything goes well, it will be a few hours. If not, it will be a few days, Shun Yin said. A few days. Lu Shuang was shocked and sat up. Seriously? Will we starve to death? If it really takes a few days, we will resupply them. Under normal circumstances, we won't starve to death. Lu Shuang breathed a sigh of relief. But when he thought of how many days it would take, his heart sank. She did not want to participate in this maneuver. She felt that it was a pain in the ass. Could they really learn survival skills from the maneuver? After eating, we will rest for an hour, and then we will start the battle. However, under normal circumstances, the members who have said in advance are actually already in the battle from this moment on. So, after eating, our team will gather first and discuss the strategy, Shinian said. Lu Shuang wanted to cry, but had no tears. I want to sleep for a while. You slept so late last night. If I had known, I would have gone to bed earlier. It's a waste of energy. Shinian, 4 hours of rest is enough for me, he reassured her. Even 40 hours is not enough for me. You have been pressing my feet all the time. My muscles have been aching since this morning. Lu Shuang tried to find all kinds of excuses to stop thinking about it. Shinian sat by her bedside. Her gaze softened a little. Although your body is much better than before, it's still not enough. When we go back this time, I'll run with you every day. You used to run every day, okay? Got it. You're the one accompanying me. I'll take 1 to 2 hours to teach you martial arts, self-defense, and shooting, Shinian said softly. Lu Shuang lowered her eyes. She thought of her mother's tragic death. She was a person who did things with passion for 3 minutes. But once that impulse passed, she would be all kinds of gluttonous and lazy. Feeling a little guilty, she sighed and said with dim eyes, My mother must be very sad that she gave birth to such a gluttonous and lazy daughter like me. I really should have trained. I can't be neglected. I shouldn't have let the pain and fighting spirit wear away. Are you sure that person is not invisible? Shinian asked. Lu Shuang nodded. Can you draw what that person looks like? The facial recognition technology is quite mature now. Maybe you can find it through facial recognition. Shinian said in a low voice. Try when we go back. Shinian, do you think that the person who wants to kill me is not invisible? Could it be Sheng Dongsheng? Isn't Sheng Dongsheng on the same boat as you? He's afraid that something will happen to you, so he hired someone to kill me. Lu Shuang guessed. There's no need for him to wear invisible clothes. In his eyes, you're a dispensable person. He doesn't care about you. What if he want me to hate you on purpose? Maybe he's letting me go on purpose. Lu Shuang let his imagination run wild. Shinian was silent. Before I have evidence, I don't want to make wild guesses. I will only fall into someone else's trap and worry about nothing. But I promise you that I will find the culprit. No matter who it is, I will give you a satisfactory explanation. Since Shinian had said so, there was nothing for her to worry about. After all, Shinian was a person of her word. I hope that my mother's spirit in heaven can bless me to find the murderer. Otherwise, I won't accept it. If my mother doesn't die, my father won't die of depression. It's all my fault, and it's also your fault. Lu Shuang sat up. His eyes were slightly red. Yes, it's my fault. I'll use the rest of my life to make up for my mistake. Shinian didn't deny it. He put his arm around Lu Shuang's shoulder. Don't accept it. Don't let me go. Do you understand? Lu Shuang stared at him, thinking about what he meant. You're being sarcastic, aren't you? I mean it. So, stay by my side and torture me with all your might. Don't harm others, Shinian said with a smile. Lu Shuang elbowed him in the stomach, tried to push him away. You're the one who will harm others. See, I've been harmed by you. Why do I still have to participate in the drill? Oh my God, I'm a woman. Those are all men. Fine. Shinian looked at her and smiled. After the drill, I'll give you a present. You haven't given me the present from last time. Shinian scratched her nose. I'll give it all to you after the drill. Lu Shuang warned, if you don't give it to me, I'll keep staring at your butt and nagging. Haha, I don't even want to give it to you anymore. Lu Shuang, she knocked his head. Don't you dare, brother. Shen Yin's eyes darkened. Why are you calling me brother? Do you want to die? Call me hubby. Oh, brother. Lu Shuang said with a smile. Shen Yin lowered his head and bit Lu Shuang's lips. I don't have hobbies with my sister. Do you like to have sex with your brother? Nonsense. Lu Shuang blushed and bit his lips. Shinian didn't dodge and was bitten by her. He took the opportunity to cover her mouth and pressed her down on the bed. MMM, MMM, MMM. Lu Shuang protested and pushed him. Instead, he tightened his grip on her waist. The drill was in the afternoon, and she didn't have the strength to play with him. Lu Shuang bit his tongue without hesitation. Shinian felt a sharp pain on her tongue, and it became numb. She stared at Lu Shuang. She saw a trace of sadness in his eyes and some inexplicable guilt. She took the initiative to suck on his lips and said softly, "I don't have the strength. You know that." "I know. It's just a kiss. I'm not doing anything." Shinian was a little angry. Lu Shuang smiled honestly. "I'm just worried about what I'm doing." Chapter 6:12. His gloomy mood became better because of her words. He tapped on her nose and said, "Rest on the bed for a while. I will close the door. Remember, don't open the door for anyone except me. Okay?" Lu Shuang made an okay gesture. Shinian went out and closed the door for her. Lu Shuang turned over and took out her phone. There was no signal on the phone, so she could only play single-player games. After playing for half an hour, Shinian still hadn't come back. Didn't he say he was going to eat? She sat up and wanted to go out to look for him, but she didn't know where to find him. There was no signal here. If she got lost, he would have to look for her again. She didn't have any skills. The only thing she could do was not to be a burden. She lay down on the bed and fell asleep. After a long time, she heard someone talking and then the sound of the door opening. She opened her eyes alertly and saw Shinian coming in. "Where have you been?" Lu Shuang asked. Because she had just woken up, her voice was soft and sexy and a little cute. Shinian's heart softened when she saw her. Colonel Chung, who was following behind Shinian, already knew the relationship between Lu Shuang and Shinian. He was not surprised at all. He walked in and put the food on the table. "Get up and eat," Shinian said and walked towards her. "Then I'll go down first," Colonel Chung said. "Ask them to gather in the meeting room in half an hour." "I will be there in half an hour," Shinian said. "Okay." Colonel Chung went out and closed the door for them. Shinian took off her coat and suit and said to Lu Shuang, "I will rest for 20 minutes. Wake me up in 20 minutes. Aren't you going to eat?" Lu Shuang sat in front of the chair. She was hungry, so she started to eat. "I have eaten with the soldiers. You can eat later and save some food," Shinian said. "Save what?" She didn't understand. Song Shinian did not reply. Lu Shuang didn't hear him turn around. He turned his head and looked at him. Lu Shuang had already fallen asleep. His eyes were closed, and he wasn't moving at all. The corners of Lu Shuang's mouth curled up slightly. Didn't he say that 4 hours of rest would be enough? Ha 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 ha. She didn't expose him and let him sleep. She buried her head in her food and drank her milk. When she looked at the time, it had already been 20 minutes. She walked to the bed and gently pushed Shinian. "Hey, it's been more than 4 hours." Shinian sensed the teasing in her voice and smiled. For him, 4 hours was enough. At this time, he was taking the chance to rest to conserve his energy. This was because there was a fierce battle in this drill. He did not tell her about it for fear of scaring her. He knew Lu Shuang very well. He was strong on the outside, but weak on the inside. He was just a paper tiger. He still remembered that when they were still in junior high, the teacher had asked a few classes to clean the school. She was the team leader of the cleaning area. One day, she had a conflict with a class next door because of who was cleaning the lawn. At that time, she was so fierce that she made the girls in the other class cry. That girl was the prettiest girl in the class, and a group of boys came down to settle the score with her. She was frightened at that time, but she couldn't lose her confidence. She shouted, "I want to get the teacher to judge." She turned around and left. He saw her turn around the corner. She must have been scared out of her wits. He brought a group of boys downstairs and beat up the students in that class. Because of his special status as the governor's son, the school did not dare to investigate further. The matter was left unsettled. She didn't even know that he was the one who helped her bully the students. Shinin opened his eyes and held the back of her head. His strength was so strong that he pulled her onto his body. He turned over and lowered his head, kissing her deeply on the lips. It didn't last long, just 3 seconds. Lu Shuang looked at him with a red face. You woke up a long time ago. He smiled slightly. I just wanted to kiss you. If your subordinates saw you like this, they would definitely faint, right? Lu Shuang said in disdain. So, I'll only let you know that I'm like this. You're the only one who will despise me, Shun Yin said with a smile. He stood up and picked up the black backpack that he had left in the corner. He started to change his clothes. The outfit was the same as hers, but he looked more manly when he wore it. It gave Lu Shuang the illusion that he could protect her. I didn't expect you to look so handsome in a camouflage uniform. She leaned on the bed, swaying her legs, and looked at him with admiration. Shin not only put a gun and bullets in it, but he also put a knife in the bandage on his leg. Wow, that knife, why don't I have it? Lu Shuang asked in surprise. I'm afraid that you'll cut yourself. You just have to follow me, Shun Yin said. What if we get separated? I want that knife too. Lu Shuang just felt that he looked so handsome in that outfit. Shun Yin threw the knife to her, knelt in front of her, helped her put the knife in the special bandage on her leg. Lu Shuang jumped down from the bed, took out the gun from her waist bag, and posed. Shun Yin, I look handsome like this too, don't I? Don't I look like a female secret agent? Shun Yin continued to put on other things and couldn't be bothered with her. Lu Shuang saw that Shun Yin was ignoring her. Anyway, she was used to this guy's disdain. She took a few photos of herself to amuse herself. It was a pity that there was no signal here. Otherwise, she would have posted it online and there would be many fangirls. There was a knock on the door. Put it away. Shun Yin reminded her. Okay. Lu Shuang immediately put away the gun and put it in her waist bag. Shun Yin also changed her clothes and opened the door. Colonel Chung stood at the door and said respectfully, Mr. President, they're all waiting in the conference room. Okay. Shun Yin nodded and looked at Lu Shuang. You can go with me. You don't need to wear the down jacket. Lu Shuang nodded. Help me prepare a new dagger. Shun Yin ordered Colonel Chung. Colonel Chung looked at Lu Shuang's leg and understood. Then he went to prepare the dagger that Shun Yin needed. Shun Yin took Lu Shuang to the conference room. When Lu Shuang saw that the other 8 people had arrived and were wearing the same clothes as them, she suddenly felt a kind of hot blood flowing in her body, swelling and excited. Shun Yin took the note on the table and glanced at it. Number 008 is good at fighting. Number 171 is good at shooting. Number 189 is good at collecting. Number 234 has no specialties or weaknesses. Chung Mingho is good at fighting and shooting. Zhu Jiang is good at fighting and computing. Wang Bo is good at extreme limits. And Han Qing is good at everything. You is good at everything. Who compiled the information from above? Number 189 is here. Number 189 stood up and said, Hello, everyone. I am Qin Tangdang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 613. Do you think your collection is correct? Shun Yin asked back. Reporting to the president, this is the answer I got after asking everyone. A serious report reported. Shun Yin did not answer his question. Whether it was true or not, they would be able to find out during the drill. Remember, in this drill, I forgot your previous numbers. I will rename your numbers. Number 1 Shun Gu, Number 2 Zhang Jinyu, Number 3 Wu Di, Number 4 Shun Yin, Number 5 Hang Tian, Number 6 Lu Shuang, Number 7 Chung Mingho, Number 8 Zhu Jiang, Number 9 Wang Bo, and Number 10 Han Qingwei. Do you understand? Shun Yin said sternly. Understood. Lu Shuang also shouted along with them. She felt very proud, as if she was really one of the soldiers. She could boast about this for the rest of her life. She still had to tell DeBeo about it in the future. She could not help but smile, and her eyes were sparkling. Shun Yin looked at her out of the corner of her eye and sighed helplessly. She did not know what she was thinking about. Is there anyone who volunteered to be the commander this time? Under her influence, Shun Yin's tone softened a little. Except for Lu Shuang, everyone else looked at Shun Yin. They could not tell what Shun Yin was thinking. Number 7 Chung Mingho, sign up. When everyone saw Chung Mingho sign up, they signed up one after another, except for Lu Shuang. Anyway, she did not say anything. Since Shun Yin asked her to follow him closely, she would definitely not let anyone separate them. Shun Yin was probably just asking casually. No one would really dare to order Shun Yin around. Shun Yin looked at Lu Shuang coldly. What about you? Lu Shuang paused and looked at Shun Yin's firm and sharp eyes. If she did not sign up, would it hurt the morale of Shun Yin's team? She had promised not to drag them down. She cheered up and said in a loud voice, "Number 6, Lu Shuang, sign up." Anyway, Shun Yin would not let her be the commander, unless she wanted to die quickly. Ha ha! All right, it's up to you then. During the battle, we will all listen to the commander's orders, including me, Shun Yin said with certainty. Lu Shuang fixed his eyes on Shun Yin. She thought she was hearing things. Was there something wrong with Shun Yin? He must have forgotten to take his medicine today to make her the commander. Victory, someone shouted. Victory, victory, victory. The soldiers were full of confidence. After all, they were following the president. They would definitely do their best. Otherwise, they would embarrass the president. The pressure on them was much greater than the others. Of course, their morale was also much higher. Lu Shuang saw how passionate the soldiers were. If he said that he didn't want to be a soldier, would he be despised to death? She looked at Shun Yin and frowned. That fellow, Shun Yin, didn't even look at her. In the morning, she thought that she might have fallen for him. How could she fall for such a person? She wasn't a masochist. She was so angry. Lu Shuang raised his hands and signaled for everyone to quiet down. What strategy do you guys have? What are your thoughts? Sir, I think we should adopt a quick attack. After all, out of the 27 teams, only 5 will be able to get rid of the 5 flags. The slower we are, the more disadvantaged we will be. Ending the battle as soon as possible is the correct method. Chung Mingho, the number 7, said. I don't agree with this method. Everyone wants to end the battle quickly, but the more rushed we are, the more loopholes there will be, and the easier it will be for the entire team to be wiped out. We should be cautious. Although only 5 teams can gather, we must ensure that there are no casualties first. Only then will we have a chance to complete the mission. Number 1, Xingu said. If we are slow, we can ensure that there will be no casualties. Taking the initiative to attack is the best defense. Number 7, Chung Mingho retorted. I think that only reckless people will choose to end the battle quickly. Advancing steadily is the only way to be at ease, number 1 said. You're too steady. The flags are gone. I'm not being reckless. I'm being proactive and raising morale. If you insist that I'm being reckless, then what you're doing is cowardice. Cowardice isn't invisible. That dangerous mission can't be completed invisibly. You mean that it won't be dangerous to protect the president? Don't forget, the guard are all chosen from the elite soldiers. Lu Shuang saw that the battle between number 1 and number 7 was about to reach its climax. She could also see that the invisible people and the guards were obviously divided into 2 camps, and the others were gradually joining in. She felt that she was really unlucky. Not only did her team have her as a burden, but there was also the problem of internal division. If they could win, it must be because the heavens were taking a nap. She looked at Shun Yin. Shun Yin maintained her poise and composure. She was calm and composed. Slowly, her gaze landed on her face. She didn't look like she was going to say anything. Lu Shuang said helplessly, I say, all of you, quiet down first. Her voice was so low that they didn't hear her. They were still arguing. Hey, all of you, quiet down. She raised her decibel. Still, no one listened to her. Hey, she used the highest decibel she could, but no one listened to her and stopped. Her throat was hurting. She stood up and slammed her chair on the table with a loud bang. The meeting room instantly quietened down. The corner of Shun Yin's mouth curled up, revealing a smile. I say, all of you are arguing until your ears are red. Have you solved the problem? I feel like you're watching a grandparent and grandchild riding a donkey. Everyone says they're right, and everyone says they're right, but no one says the essence. Number 7. The feeling you give me is that you're aggressive and aggressive, but there's no strategy or method. Number 1. The feeling you give me is that you're too focused on stability and not heroic. We don't want to be ambitious and ordinary people. Where's the strategy? Where's the plan? Where's the specific way to solve the problem? Lu Shuang lectured both of them and didn't take sides. Because she was Shun Yin's person, although they didn't know her specific ability, everyone gave her face and didn't refute her. "We'll listen to the commander," number one said. Lu Shuang looked at Shun Yin. "Here, you're the commander. I've said it before. I'll listen to the commander too," Shun Yin said. Lu Shuang knew that Shun Yin wouldn't help her. He was the one who chose her. It had nothing to do with her if they lost. But if they lost and embarrassed themselves, he shouldn't blame her. "My idea is, since Old Zhou..." Lu Shuang paused and felt that he shouldn't call him Old Zhou like Shun Yin. So he changed the way he addressed him and said, "Commander Zhou said that we'll only win if the flag is handed to him. We'll observe the terrain and find the only way to get there. We'll leave a sniper, an intelligence liaison, a combat expert, and an extreme athlete." Chapter 614. Lu Shuang saw that they did not speak, and all 9 pairs of eyes were looking at her. She thought that she did not make herself clear, so she explained, "This is what I'm thinking. Since those people have the flag, they will definitely hand it over to Commander Zhou. We will set up an ambush on the path that they must pass. Firstly, we can snatch the flag, and secondly, we can delay the first team and shorten the distance. However, I guess the other teams have also thought of this idea. So, after we get the map, the first thing we need to do is to occupy an advantageous position. I've also thought about it. If we split up the team, it will weaken the strength of the team, but at the same time, we can preserve our strength. At the beginning, we don't rush to snatch it. Instead, we urge them to snatch it, and then we can pick up the leftovers. On one hand, we can preserve our strength, and on the other hand, we can exhaust the enemy's strength. I've also thought about it. We will be divided into 4 groups. The first group, Cheng Mingho, Zhu Jiang. The 2 of you are stronger in terms of overall strength, and your computer logic ability is also stronger. You will rush to the path that they must pass, or the few intersections that they must pass through, and set up traps to expel the people who go. Break them down one by one, and make sure that we are the only ones in this place. My policy is to not make a move if we can, and let them fight among themselves. The second group, Wang Bo and Han Qingwei, you are responsible for gathering information about the enemy, and do a good job of communication in the team. Every team has a walkie-talkie, Shun Yin reminded them. Oh, then Wang Bo and Han Qingwei's task will be even more difficult. You have to pay attention to the enemy situation in all directions and make a detailed understanding of their situation. Then, you have to come up with a reasonable plan to annihilate them and not let them pass. If you guys get the 5 flags, if you get the flag, you can hand it over to Commander Zhou immediately, Lu Shuang said. At this point, the soldiers exchanged looks with each other, especially the bodyguards. They knew that a woman had appeared beside the president for no reason. She looked very ordinary, and other than the time when she fearlessly saved the foreign envoy, she did not seem to have any special abilities. However, in just a few minutes, they were convinced, and they also saw the commanding ability of this paratrooper. Seeing that they did not speak, nor did they express any objections, Lu Shuang seemed to have agreed. He continued, "As for the others, this is my arrangement. First, choose a place and set up some traps. Make sure that the area within a kilometer is our territory. Xingu, you're good at fighting. Zhang Jinyu, you're good at setting up. Trickery. Wu Di, you're good at gathering information. The 3 of you will form a team. Wu Di, you'll gather information on the enemy. Xingu, you'll lure them in. And Zhang Jinyu, you'll shoot. Lastly, Hang Tian Ai Shun. She almost called her by her full name. President Shun, the 3 of us are from the mobility unit. We'll make up for the backup when the time comes. Other than that, before we set off, we need to design sign language and symbols that only our team can understand. For example, where is our team's territory? Where do you think the mechanism is located?" Shun Yin was the first to applaud. He knew that Lu Shuang was a little smart, but she was too lazy to use her brain. She acted impulsively without thinking, but he didn't expect her to have ideas and strategies. Who said that she wasn't suitable to be his wife? He felt that no one was more suitable than her. Seeing that Shun Yin was applauding, the others also applauded. Lu Shuang looked at Shun Yin gratefully. She felt guilty. She hadn't arranged anything for herself. She had even thought of what task to assign to that guy, with no merits or flaws. Luckily, she had Shun Yin to back her up. Heh. The horn sounded. A sharp glint flashed past Shun Yin's eyes. She said in a low voice, "It's starting. Remember, when you carry the flag, don't reveal anything." She was looking at Lu Shuang when she said that. Lu Shuang probably wanted her to carry the flag. The group of people went out and lined up on the field. There were 27 messy backpacks on the table. Lu Shuang randomly picked one. She didn't even look at it and just carried it on her back. The platoon leader and company leader came out and led them to their respective vehicles. Lu Shuang lowered his voice and asked Shun Yin, "Does everyone enter at a different address?" Shun Yin nodded. "I think everyone get a different map. The map should be in your backpack. When we get into the car, take it out and study it. Since we're divided into 4 teams, it's best to make 4 copies." Okay. Lu Shuang didn't know anything. How could she say that she didn't even know how to read a map? After a while, the 10 of them got into the small truck. Lu Shuang opened her backpack. There was a flag, 12 pieces of chocolate, 12 pieces of bread, 10 bottles of mineral water, a map, and a pen. A book. She took out the map and looked at it. As expected, she couldn't understand it. So, she took out the book and pen for them to copy and study. She distributed the bread, mineral water, and chocolate to the soldiers. Each of them got 1 piece. But she realized that there were 2 extra pieces of chocolate and 2 pieces of bread. Why not 1 piece each? Lu Shuang asked Shun Yin. "Think about it yourself," Shun Yin replied. Lu Shuang blinked. Didn't they say that they would teach her well during the drill? What the hell did they teach her? She thought that if she took it for herself, people would definitely talk about it. Could it be that the extra 2 pieces were for the president's benefit? "Is this specially for you?" Lu Shuang asked Shun Yin softly. "No," Shun Yin replied. Lu Shuang saw that they were discussing in full swing again. She thought for a while and said, well, when she spoke this time, everyone looked at her, waiting to hear her opinion. She wanted to say that she would share the 2 pieces of chocolate and 2 pieces of bread equally with them. But, looking at everyone's expectant eyes, she felt that it would be a little low if she said that. "I still have 2 pieces of chocolate and 2 pieces of bread left. I think they will be very helpful to the person who designed the trap. I will share them with Shingu's team and Cheng Mingho's team. You guys should make good use of them." As soon as she finished speaking, she felt that her words suddenly made her seem superior. She separated the unevenly distributed food. She even solved the problem of how to use them. Shun Yin's lips curled up as he looked at her with a smile. She looked at Shun Yin and smiled. She should be right. She gave the pieces of chocolate and bread to them. "Commander, take a look. This map is very strange," Cheng Mingho said and handed the map to Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang, she couldn't understand such a map. Shun Yin took the map and explained to Lu Shuang. "This map shows that we have 3 paths to Commander Zhou's side. It also shows the minefields. If we walk well, we can avoid those landmines." Shun Yin pointed out the map to Lu Shuang so that she could roughly understand the contents of the map. Chapter 6:15. Lu Shuang took a look at the map and then at Cheng Mingho's worried face. "That's normal. If you don't give them a path, the drill will be more intense and interesting. Remember, don't bite off more than you can chew. You just have to guard one intersection. It depends on their luck and yours. If you clear a path, it will at least give the people behind us a strong backing. Don't forget, there are 4 of you and 6 people behind you. Moreover, it's a competition of strength. If you win too easily, there will be no sense of honor, right? Also look, the 3 roads on this map have clearly marked the minefields. I think that since it's random, there shouldn't be any bias. In other words, their map has also clearly marked the minefields. Can't we reduce the scope of the traps and catch the fish in the net?" Lu Shuang said. Once she said that, the others felt that it made sense and were instantly filled with confidence. Could she say that she was just talking nonsense? She didn't even understand the map. She was just putting on an act. Then where are we going to set the traps? Shingu asked. Damn, she really had to rub it in. How would she know? Forget it. It was a drill anyway. If they lost, it would be Shen Yin's fault. She casually pointed at the middle section. Shengu immediately drew a circle at the place she was pointing at. Lu Shuang, let me remind you, we are looking at the middle section. But for the others, it might not be. They might be closer to here. So, be careful, Lu Shuang said. Got it, the soldiers said in unison. Lu Shuang saw that Cheng Mingho was also looking at her, asking for instructions. She pointed at the furthest road. You guys are here. Why? Cheng Mingho was puzzled. Not far from this road is the minefield. There won't be many people coming here. She actually thought so too. Because there were not many people going, the chances of the four of them failing were low. But she couldn't say her real thoughts. Not necessarily. I think a lot of people think the same way as you. They will go the opposite way, thinking that there's a road without mines in the minefield. Moreover, generally speaking, the road in the middle is the one with the most people, Lu Shuang said with a smile. As for the others, except for Shen Yin, it made sense. Shen Yin didn't say anything either. This was not his real goal. All right, let's do that. Cheng Mingho agreed with Lu Shuang. By the way, there's one more thing. Will the traps really kill those people? Lu Shuang asked worriedly. As soon as she spoke, the soldiers fell silent and looked at her strangely. It's my first time participating in such a drill, Lu Shuang said with an awkward smile. We have a hat on our heads, and the hat is electronically sensitive. If we're hit by the infrared sensor on the hat will start to smoke. As long as there is smoke, it is equivalent to death, and we will leave the drill in advance, Shengu explained. Ah, if there is smoke, we will leave. Lu Shuang's eyes were sparkling. If she didn't want to continue, she could just make her hat start to smoke. Easy. How about close combat? Lu Shuang continued to ask. Don't you have this? Shengu took out a pen-like thing from his waist bag and opened it. It was an infrared dagger. This can only be used in close combat. Oh yes, I do. It's in my bag. I didn't know it was used for this. Lu Shuang wanted to open his bag, but he remembered that there was a gun in his waist bag. It would be terrible if he was discovered. So he changed the topic and pulled out the real dagger from his leg. What about this real one? This is used when we encounter beasts or snakes. It is also used to make traps and defend against other dangers, Shengu explained in a good mood. What if I assume I accidentally make smoke come out of myself? Lu Shuang asked tentatively. Shen Yin was speechless. This is an electronic one. Whoever kills whom will be displayed in the command center. Shengu looked at Lu Shuang strangely. What if the hat is broken? Lu Shuang scratched his head. It is only given out after a thorough inspection. If something really happens to it, it will be replaced with a new one, Shengu continued. What did the commander do in the past? Cheng Mingho asked suspiciously. A doctor from the military. Lu Shuang explained. He purposely worked in the military so that his appearance here wouldn't be too out of the ordinary. You haven't participated in a drill before? Hang Tian asked in surprise. I only participated in actual combat. I'm sorry, Lu Shuang said with a smile. Shen Yin pursed her lips and tried to suppress her laughter. Actual combat. What she said was true. She did participate in actual combat. She took care of colds, helped others give birth, and bandaged wounds. But when she said that, the soldiers instantly felt that she was superior. The commander has experienced many life and death situations, right? Hang Tian asked curiously. Give birth? She used to deliver babies every day. A lot. Almost a few every day. That was 5 years ago, Lu Shuang said with a smile. Shen Yin held back her laughter. Her shoulders were trembling. In order not to expose herself, she looked out of the window. Can you tell us about it? Wang Bo said with admiration. Tell us. Bloody or heartwarming. Those memories are too distant. I don't want to recall them, Lu Shuang said ambiguously. Did the commander participate in a war? That kind of real war where you live and die in shells every day? Hang Tian asked again. Lu Shuang looked at Hang Tian's dark face. Her eyes were sparkling. She cleared her throat and explained, the doctor is a second-line soldier. It's not that dangerous. Shen Yin looked at Lu Shuang. All right, the doctor was indeed a second-line soldier. It was not that dangerous. but she didn't go to the battlefield at all. All right, she didn't admit that she had been to the battlefield. Lu Shuang glared at Shun Yin. It was all his fault. He made her a target. She rolled her eyes and smiled. Shun Yin looked at her and had a bad feeling. Mr. President, please tell us your story. We all want to hear it. After all, you are so young. How did you do such an outstanding job? Lu Shuang asked. All the soldiers were distracted and focused on Shun Yin's face. Mr. President, please tell us, Hang Tian said excitedly. He had fought with the president and heard many unknown stories about the president. Thinking about it, he was very excited. Speak. Shun Yin revealed a meaningful smile, graceful and calm at the same time. Why did Lu Shuang have a bad feeling? Could it be that what he was talking about was related to her? Chapter 6:16. Lu Shuang recalled something from when she was younger. When she was in junior high, there was a time when it was raining outside and she didn't go home for lunch. Instead, she bought a bowl of instant noodles and a chicken thigh from the school supermarket. When she came back, she realized that her umbrella was missing. She searched everywhere but couldn't find it. An hour later, she saw Shun Yin coming over with her umbrella. She was furious and questioned, "Why did you take my umbrella? I saw that you weren't going home for lunch, so I wanted to go home for lunch," Shun Yin said righteously. "But you didn't ask for my permission. How could I ask for your permission when you weren't around?" Shun Yin passed her the umbrella. She took it angrily, feeling extremely annoyed with Shun Yin. When school ended, she opened her umbrella, but it was broken by him. A few of the threads came off, and the umbrella was like a wheel. She couldn't take it anymore and stomped her feet in anger. The rain was so heavy that she could only stand at the school's gate for the time being. He held a huge black umbrella and walked over unhurriedly. With an insufferably arrogant attitude, he asked, "Do you want me to give you a ride?" She was enraged. "I'll give you a gift. You have to accompany me under the umbrella." He hugged her shoulders and pulled her under his umbrella. "Accompany me home first. When I'm home, I'll give you this umbrella." And so, she accompanied him all the way to his house. This rascal really had to walk. He didn't even take the bus, saying that he couldn't squeeze in. She asked him to take a taxi, but he refused, saying that he couldn't get one. When she reached his house, she was already drenched. She was about to go crazy and beat him up. But she couldn't beat him and was pinned down on the cold ground, sneezing. At that time, he said, "When my chauffeur comes back, he'll send you home. The rain is getting heavier and it's not easy to get a taxi here. There are no buses either. Go upstairs and take a shower first in case you catch a cold." She was angry, but she was still young and did not have much of a brain. She was really afraid that she would catch a cold, and she was also a little lazy. She wanted to hitch a ride with him, so she really took a shower at his house. When she came out, she realized that she could no longer wear her clothes and could only wear the shirt he gave her. Girls in middle school had already started puberty, but they didn't have bras yet. They only wore singlets or bras inside. When she wore his clothes, she didn't wear them because her singlet was also wet. Now that she thought about it, he must have seen her naked at that time. No wonder he didn't let her go home. She waited until 8 o'clock in the evening, but her driver still hadn't returned. She was anxious and hungry. This fellow had prepared a cake for her with ill intentions. After all, she was young and couldn't resist the temptation when she saw a cake. She thought that eating a bit of his cake would be a way to vent her anger. If she didn't eat it, it would be a waste. She would be at a disadvantage, all right? Comforting herself like this, she ate the cake from his house. Soon after eating, she felt sleepy and curled up on the sofa to rest for a while. He rested until the next day. She was in his bed, still wearing his clothes. At that time, she had always suspected that he was behind it. Otherwise, why didn't the driver come back for the whole night? Why did she feel sleepy after eating the cake? Why didn't her mother ask her when she went home the next day? However, she couldn't ask on such an occasion. She would ask after it was over, if she still remembered to ask. To a certain extent, Shun Yin was really bad. My story should start from when I was young. I think I was quite thoughtful when I was young, Shun Yin said with a smile. Lu Shuang pursed his lips and felt very disdainful. Indeed, she was thoughtful. She had been bad since she was young. "Mr. President, You are very popular with girls, right? Hang Tian said enviously. Not bad. When it's raining, there are often girls who lend me umbrellas, or when they see that I have an umbrella, they pretend that their own umbrella is broken. They also insist on going to my house, take a bath at my house, and don't leave. There are even girls who stay overnight. Shen Yin said with a smile. At this moment, the usual coldness and seriousness disappeared. The more Lu Shuang listened, the more he couldn't bear to listen to it. There are girls who stay overnight at your house. What did you do? Lu Shuang asked with a fake smile. I was young at that time, but Shen Yin deliberately dragged the last word. I did what I should do. Yes, you did what you should do. Hang Tian was curious. After all, they were all men, so he was curious and excited about certain topics. I quite liked that girl at that time, so she wanted to stay overnight, so I agreed. Shen Yin said with a smile. Lu Shuang felt that she was talking about her. What did you do? Lu Shuang asked subconsciously. She was wearing my white shirt at that time. She was quite bold. She didn't wear any clothes inside and saw everything. Her breasts were a little small. Lu Shuang's eyes drooped. She was sure that she was talking about her. How could she be so innocent at that time? She had never thought about the problem of being seen naked. And then, Hang Tian asked excitedly, what do you think? We were alone in a room. My parents weren't at home. It was just me and her. Shen Yin said ambiguously. How old was the president at that time? Hang Tian asked immediately. 15 or 16. Didn't the president have any firsts at that time? Hang Tian said with a sneaky smile. I was young at that time, so I didn't understand. I didn't do that kind of thing. I was quite excited after a kiss, Shen Yin said with a smile. You kissed her? Lu Shuang asked in disdain. Shen Yin looked at him, and there was a strange tenderness in her eyes. Yes. Chi. Lu Shuang snorted. He was so bad when he was young. She was innocent. What about that girl? Where is she now? Hang Tian asked curiously. A sharp light flashed in Shen Yin's eyes. His words made the atmosphere a little awkward. Some jokes could be made, and some could not be made. Some questions cannot be asked, because it would be serious if they were asked. Shen Yin smiled. She should have given birth to the child. After all, I'm almost 30 now, and she is older than me. Lu Shuang cleared his throat. After relaxing, let's get down to business. Now let's design a few symbols and hand gestures that only we can understand. When we reach the intersection, we can run forward quickly. Yes. The soldiers became serious instantly. Lu Shuang used to be a playful person, so he had a lot of ideas. She designed a few symbols that were simple and easy to remember. She also designed a few simple hand gestures. After all, in this kind of environment, there were not many instructions needed, so there was no need for complicated hand gestures. When they finished designing the symbols and hand gestures, the car stopped. A cold light flashed in Shen Yin's eyes. The hunt had begun. Hello, everyone. I am Qin Tangtang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 617. After they got out of the car, they registered, took their hats, and put them on. Lu Shuang followed the troops into the forest. The soldiers led her, and Shen Yin walked in the middle. They were running fast, and Lu Shuang tried to keep up with them. After running for half an hour, she was already out of breath. Even though she had been training for half a year, her stamina was still not as good as those soldiers. Shen Yin looked back at her and squatted down in front of her. Get on. Lu Shuang shook her hand. You won't be able to take it. Except for the vanguard, the others take turns to carry the commander. We can't waste time on the safe road. Shen Yin said seriously. Seeing his serious look, Lu Shuang didn't dare to refuse. She climbed onto Shen Yin's back, and they ran at the same speed as before. Shen Yin carried her and didn't fall behind at all. Lu Shuang leaned on his back and felt warmth in her heart. She didn't expect the noble Shen Yin to have such a gentle side to him. She was impressed by him again. Shen Yin ran for 10 minutes with her on his back. Then someone else carried her. Another 10 minutes later, someone else carried her again. No matter who it was, they all followed behind Shen Yin. I have rested for half an hour and can run for half an hour by myself. Shen Yin. Lu Shuang accidentally called his name. Shen Yin looked back at her, and his eyes were cold. There is no name here, only a code. I am number 4. Oh, Lu Shuang had also become more serious. Her own emotions had also changed in the tense and intense environment. After all, those soldiers were really carrying her and treating this drill as a real battle. Number 4, according to the normal speed, how long will it take for us to run out of this forest without getting lost? Lu Shuang asked. Number 1, answer me. Shen Yin threw the question to the others, as if he didn't know. At our current speed, without any enemies or accidents, we'll need 12 hours, Number 1 replied. Lu Shuang was speechless. She glared at Shen Yin, who was the one who said that if everything went well, it would only take a few hours. At the very least, it would take 12 hours. How many hours was 12 hours? If she had known that it would be 12 hours, she would not have come. Now, it was hard to get off the tiger. She wanted to make her hat smoke. Shen Yin saw through her thoughts and explained, I'm not sure either. It will be weird if you don't know about it. I'll be damned if I believe you. Just you wait. Lu Shuang was speechless as he warned. Shen Yin held her hand and ran forward. Lu Shuang was annoyed and pulled his hand away from Shen Yin's. A sharp glint flashed across Shen Yin's eyes as he warned, Get down. Everyone quickly crouched down and found their hiding spots within a second. Lu Shuang paused for a moment. At the thought of 12 hours, she wanted to expose herself and let the enemy kill her, so she squatted down slowly. Shen Yin saw through her intention. He took off her hat and put it on his head. Then he threw his hat to Hang Tian, who was supposed to follow them. Although Hang Tian didn't know why, he still gave his hat to Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang was speechless. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. Shen Yin was bullying her on purpose. She saw that everyone was hiding well, and no one was looking at her. She opened her mouth and bit Shen Yin's shoulder. Shen Yin felt the pain and turned around. He pressed her under his body and covered her mouth. Lu Shuang bit the flesh on his palm. Shen Yin let go of her. There were a few bite marks on his palm. He looked at her helplessly. Under normal circumstances, Lu Shuang was impulsive when he got angry. When the impulse disappeared, he wouldn't be angry anymore. She held his hand and looked at it. There were bite marks on his palm. For some reason, she felt sorry for him. She kissed the palm of his hand. Shen Yin raised the corner of his mouth and touched her face. This quarrel had finally come to an end. A minute later, Lu Shuang heard the rustling sound of someone stepping on deadwood. They were moving very fast. The soldiers looked at Lu Shuang. Should they start fighting or let them pass? If they started fighting, they would exhaust their forces and the people behind them would catch up. They would become the fishermen. But if they didn't start fighting, the others would have a stronger position first. They would be at a disadvantage if they fell behind. Shen Yin was also hesitating. He raised his hand and was ready to give the order to shoot. Lu Shuang stood up and shouted, Hey, wait a minute. Team A, who was walking, was shocked when they heard someone talking. They all turned to look at her. Not to mention the 10 people in team. Even the people in Lu Shuang's team looked at Lu Shuang in shock. If Lu Shuang was the only one exposed, wouldn't he be telling the others that their people were nearby? Lu Shuang took off his hat and held it in his arms. He smiled and said, Here's the thing. There are 5 teams that can get all the flags. Let's form an alliance. If we work together, we can definitely get into the top 3. If we don't form an alliance, I can tell you that you are already in our encirclement. To show my sincerity, I will exchange the president's hat with your commanders. You better think about it quickly. Someone is going to overtake you soon. Shen Yin was speechless. He really didn't expect Lu Shuang to propose an alliance without discussing it with them. But now that he thought about it, an alliance might be the best way. 20 people against 10 people would be a lot more likely to win. Shen Yin also stood up. He saw the unmanned surveillance plane flying above their heads. The people in Team A looked at each other and didn't think too much. All right, we'll form an alliance. Lu Shuang handed Shen Yin's hat over. The commander of Team A handed the hat over to Shen Yin respectfully. Shen Yin looked at Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang smiled. Shen Yin was wearing her hat. Waha! Shen Yin's hat was with Hang Tian. She didn't mind sacrificing herself anyway. It would be better to end things earlier. Shen Yin remained silent and didn't expose him. Hang Tian wouldn't expose him either. He was staring at the president's hat. He had to be careful. Team A took out the map. We're going to run to this place and set up the trap. Lu Shuang was surprised. He took out the map. We're going to set up the trap. The enemy is the same as yours. Let's go. Hurry up. Xingu was speechless. Lu Shuang was the commander. They all listened to Lu Shuang, but they felt that Lu Shuang was more charismatic than them. They felt at ease being commanded by her, even though she wasn't physically fit. All of them ran forward with all their might. Lu Shuang ran for 20 minutes and couldn't run anymore. Shen Yin squatted down in front of Lu Shuang without a word. Chapter 618. She saw a man with red smoke above his head. He raised his hands and lay on the ground. Are we ambushed? Lu Shuang asked. Someone is faster than us. Is the person who dyed my hat? Lu Shuang immediately asked. Shen Yin squinted at her and said helplessly, No. Look at the 9 o'clock position. Keep an eye on the 9 o'clock direction. On the tree, number 3 has confirmed the position of the 3 people. You can order the snipers to fire. Lu Shuang made an OK gesture to number 3 on the tree. Number 3 gestured an OK sign to their sniper. Lu Shuang only heard 7 bangs. She didn't know what had happened. She just saw red smoke and yellow smoke around her. What's going on? Am I dead? Lu Shuang asked in confusion. Shen Yin looked at Lu Shuang helplessly and couldn't help sighing. If you are dead, there will be no reward. No reward all? Lu Shuang thought for a moment and said, Why don't you tell me the reward first and let me think about it? The thing you want the most. Shen Yin's eyes flashed with sharpness. Let's go. She pulled her away. Lu Shuang only heard a bang. It seemed to be coming towards her. She immediately lay on the ground and didn't dare to say anything. As time passed, the surroundings were so quiet that they could hear the sound of insects. It seemed to be peaceful, but Lu Shuang knew that there were at least 20 people lying in ambush nearby. She saw that the dead people were still lying on the ground. Why are they still here? Lu Shuang was confused and asked with her lips. Rules. Shen Yin said simply. Lu Shuang didn't say anything. After lying on the ground for another 10 minutes, she felt that her legs were sore, but she didn't dare to move. She could only look at Shen Yin. Shen Yin pursed her lips and didn't say anything. She looked around with her sharp eyes. You probably didn't know where the enemy was hiding. They could hide, but she couldn't. However, she wasn't wearing her hat. Even if she went out, she wouldn't be the one to die. The person who died would probably die from anger. She sighed. If she continued to hide, she would definitely be in a disadvantageous position. The longer she delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be. The sky darkened faster in the forest than outside. She felt the knife on her leg and threw it towards a tree. Because of her action, many people reacted. Look at the 6 o'clock direction, Shen Yin said in a low voice. She didn't even look at him and made an OK gesture. Then there's a lot of banging, a lot of gunfire, a lot of smoke. Am I dead? Lu Shuang asked in confusion. No, Shen Yin replied. Tell your warriors to lie down and don't move. A new team is coming. Damn, we haven't even set up the trap, and so many people have already died. So many people have to die for just one flag. It's so difficult to take 5. Lu Shuang complained and signaled the soldiers not to move. Everyone hid and didn't move. She wanted to lie down and wait, but she was too anxious. What if she took a nap? Maybe it would be solved. Lu Shuang lowered her head and closed her eyes. After a while, she really fell asleep. She heard a bang, followed by a few more bangs. When she opened her eyes, she saw smoke coming from the enemies. Am I dead? No. Shen Yin frowned and said, Lie down here and don't move. Oh. Lu Shuang continued to lower her head. Why am I not dead yet? She waited for another 10 minutes. Her feet were numb, and she was in a dead end again. No one made a sound, and no one broke the deadlock. She threw the knife again. Where was Shen Yin? Didn't he say that he would stay 1 meter beside her? She had to keep up with him. Bang, bang, 2 more shots. Lu Shuang turned around subconsciously. There were two people not far from her, and they were staring at her. She felt exposed and rolled a few times subconsciously. Before she could see who it was, she was pressed to the ground. She thought, "I'm doomed." But that person didn't make a move. Lu Shuang looked up and saw that it was Shun Ian. He squatted down beside her again and pointed to the thorns not far away. Lu Shuang saw that it was thorns. She thought that there were thorns, so she shook her head. Shun Ian had no choice but to press his lips against hers. Lu Shuang's heart was beating so fast that it was about to explode. If this guy was seen by his warriors, his reputation would be swept to the ground. He was a married man. Was he courting death? She didn't dare to move for fear of being discovered. Shun Ian couldn't stop kissing her. She was embarrassed, angry, and annoyed, but she couldn't do anything about it. He kissed for 3 minutes before stopping. He pointed to the thorns. Lu Shuang was forced to nod. Shun Ian smiled and mouthed, "Wait for me there." He rushed out to cover for her. The others all looked at him. Shun Ian was very fast, and he ran and jumped in an irregular route. Lu Shuang covered her face and hid in the thorns. Luckily, she was wearing thick clothes, so the thorns on the thorns couldn't pierce her flesh. She could only hear the sound of gunshots. She didn't know if Shun Ian was dead or not. However, Shun Ian's hat seemed to belong to the captain of Team A. He wasn't the one who died. She heard gunshots from time to time. Lu Shuang looked at her watch. It had been half an hour since Shun Ian rushed out. She couldn't help sighing. 12 hours? She felt that she wouldn't be able to get out of here in 24 hours. Now she hadn't gotten a flag and had been in a stalemate for a few hours. A hot and humid breath attacked her. Lu Shuang looked at the person who came. Shun Ian's forehead and nose were covered with sweat. He had gone out for a while, but he was still alive. Was he too powerful, or was he too weak? "How is it?" Lu Shuang mouthed. Shun Ian made a 1 sign and used her other hand to touch her waist bag. She made another 2 sign and walked closer to him. She made a gesture of "don't move" with both hands. Lu Shuang understood. He meant that she killed one and got the flag, but there were 2 more teams approaching them. He wanted her to hide inside and not move. Lu Shuang frowned. If there were 2 more teams coming, wouldn't it be a mess? However, thinking about it, it was normal. She remembered that there was a time when she was crazy about playing the game of Greedy Snake. It was a team competition. When she was a small snake, she would run wherever the war was fierce. It was easy to eat a lot of snakes that way. After she became a big snake, she liked to stay away from the war zone and slow down. She was so slow that she could eat those little snakes. Now it was the same. Everyone only had 1 flag. When they heard the gunshots, many people who didn't have a flag wanted to come over and be the fishermen, just like her when she played Greedy Snake. Now, they would probably be in a stalemate with this enemy for a few hours. She pointed to the sky. The sky was getting dark. It got dark early in the forest. In another 2 hours, she wouldn't be able to see her fingers. Chapter 619. Lu Shuang's heart skipped a beat. There was a strange feeling flowing in his chest. She lay on Shun Ian's lap. His legs exudes the heat after the exercise, pores on the face, very comfortable. She remembered that she had experienced such a situation before. That year, when she was in her 2nd year of high school, it was summer vacation. Her studies were not that intense, so the school organized a summer camp. She went, and so did he. They set up tents in the jungle. In fact, the teachers chose safe areas that were protected. However, at that time, she was young, impulsive, curious, and loved exploring and taking risks. Her classmates took the opportunity to look for wild vegetables to pass through the safe area. As they walked, the sky became darker and darker, and they lost their way. She accidentally fell into a trap designed by a hunter and couldn't climb up. However, her classmates were so scared that they fled in all directions, not daring to save her. She was hungry and scared in the cave. She had never been in love before, so she didn't want to die. She was the only child of her parents. If she died, her parents would be so sad. It was so quiet that it made people tremble in fear. She began to cry, and she even cried out loud. Just then, something fell. She was so scared that she leaned to the side. Someone jumped down. It was him, Shunyin. He said disdainfully, "It's not a big deal. Why are you crying? Aren't you usually very fierce?" What do you know? She didn't want to talk to him, so she turned her back to him. He was leisurely lying on the ground, looking at the dark sky, and said, "Have you heard the story of Shangxi Village?" Of course, she hadn't heard of it. It was too scary to let her imagination run wild. Listening to a story to divert her thoughts was not a bad idea, so she turned around and faced him. Shinian raised the corner of his mouth and said, "In this world, there is a very special mountain village called Shangxi Village. This mountain village is similar to this place. It is surrounded by mountains, and in front of the mountains is a lake. If the villagers want to go out, there is only one way, which is to take a boat out of the cave. But there are water monsters in the cave, so there are usually only a few people who go through the cave alive." "Is what you said true or false? Is it a story?" Lu Shuang asked in confusion. "It's true. My classmate went there last month." Shinian glanced at her and said with a smile. That pretty face of hers was really mesmerizing. However, at that time, Lu Shuang didn't get along with him, so he didn't notice his appearance. He smiled and said, "Which classmate are you?" "Your classmate seems to be my classmate. I didn't notice that your classmate asked for leave last month. Are you talking about the weekend?" "He's not from your school. Before I transferred here, he had a good relationship with me," Shinian explained. And then, Lu Shuang asked. Shinian narrowed her eyes. "He told me that he saw something unbelievable. He wasn't the only one who went there. 3 of his classmates went with him. They went there because of the summer camp, but they felt that the camp was boring, so they crossed the mountain and went there by accident. To Xiangxi Village. I don't believe it. You just said that there is a river in front of every mountain. How do they go there by accident?" Shinian was helpless. She looked at Lu Shuang with drooping eyes. "You know about the movement of the Earth's crust, right? The plates under the ground are all moving. After thousands of years, Xiangxi Village is no longer surrounded by mountains, but there's a road. It's been thousands of years. How do you know that it used to be surrounded by mountains?" Lu Shuang felt that he was talking nonsense. "My friend found a legend about Xiangxi Village in one of the rooms. I will tell you later. Do you want to hear it?" Lu Shuang thought for a while and nodded. "Go ahead." When they arrived at Xiangxi Village, they found that there was no signal on their phones. "Isn't it normal that there is no signal in the mountains?" Lu Shuang interrupted. Shinian looked at Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang knew that he had interrupted again. He zipped his mouth to show that he would not interrupt again. He continued. They saw that the village was still the same as it was 1,000 years ago. Everything was built with mud. They met an old lady on the road, and she was wearing clothes from this era. "Isn't that normal? Since there's a road, someone must have gone out." Lu Shuang interrupted again. "Lu Shuang, I want to shut your mouth. Has anyone told you that you talk a lot? It will be hard for you to find a boyfriend if you're so noisy. You are the one who is hard to find. Hua Shiqiang from next door likes me. He even wrote me a love letter." Lu Shuang retorted. Shen Yin sneered. His eyes were cold. "Hua Shiqiang from next door, right? He was unlucky. My friend saw that it was getting late, and he couldn't go back today. It was dark in the forest, and it was very dangerous. He wanted to stay the night. He said to the old lady, 'Grandma, can I stay the night at your house? We can give you some money.' The old lady showed a strange smile. She did not say anything. She pointed at the house in front of them and led the way. My friend and her classmates followed the old lady to the house she pointed at. They met a beggar on the way. I think your friend is lying. How could there be a beggar in this shabby village? You must be blind to go to such a shabby village." Lu Shuang said with a smile. Shun Yin sighed and turned around. His handsome face appeared in front of her, facing her. Lu Shuang was startled. She stepped back subconsciously and pressed her lips together. "Lu Shuang, tell me, what should I do to shut your mouth?" Shun Yin looked down at her lips. After all, Lu Shuang was young at that time. She could not stand the fright. Moreover, she was in a cave of only 2 square meters. She could not beat Shunyin. She covered her mouth and sat cross-legged on the ground. Shunyin sat next to her and continued to say, "My friend went to the old lady's house. A 16-year-old girl came out. The girl was very beautiful. When she smiled, there were dimples on her face. She was wearing very old clothes, but the material of the clothes was very good. It could be seen that this family should be relatively rich in this mountain village. Lu Shuang wanted to say something. After thinking for a moment, she kept silent and continued to listen. After my friend and her classmates entered the room, they smelled a strange smell in the room. It was very similar to agarwood. It was a very strong agarwood, but there seemed to be some other smell in the agarwood. I couldn't tell what it was. It was very strange. When I went to buy clothes last time, I also smelled agarwood in that shop. It smelled very good, like the smell of the temple. Later, I told my mother. My mother bought it and put in the toilet to remove the smell, Lu Shuang said. Shen Yan was used to her interrupting. The strange thing is that there are a lot of people's photos on the wall. P.S. I will write about Shen Lu during this period. Everyone, wait a little longer. Gubai will be back soon. I promise, it will be very shocking. Hello, everyone. I am Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 620. That's normal. Nowadays, many people like to hang photos on the wall. It's also a kind of decoration. But the technology of taking photos only existed 100 years ago. It indirectly means that the mountain village is actually very rich. Maybe there are some treasures hidden inside? Lu Shuang guessed. Yes, it should be very rich because they're really old photos. But there are too many people. It seems that the photos of the whole village are gathered in this room. Shen Yan followed up on Lu Shuang's words. That old lady is the village chief, right? No, that little girl is the village chief. The old lady is their servant. Moreover, the old lady listens to the village chief. She followed the village chief's orders and prepared dinner for my friend. The people of the old village are so simple and kind. Lu Shuang smiled and sighed. Shen Yan twitched the corner of her mouth. She looked at her and said, my friend happened to need to go to the toilet, so he went out. He didn't know where the door was. Unknowingly, when he walked to the back door, he heard someone knocking on the door. He was very puzzled and walked over to take a look. It was a girl in her 20s who was desperately knocking on the door. The girl was also wearing modern clothes. Her clothes were very beautiful. It was a light yellow skirt with streamers, especially the same light yellow streamers around her neck. She looked like a little fairy. Why was the girl locked in the room? Lu Shuang asked curiously. My friend was as curious as you are. He asked her, why are you locked in here? The girl shouted to my friend, run, run, don't stay here, run. My friend looked at the girl carefully. She looked very similar to a girl on the photo wall. He wanted to let the girl out, but he couldn't open the door. The girl shouted, hurry up, she's coming, you're all going to die. Don't worry about me. I can't escape from here. Hurry up and leave. My friend was scared by her shouting. He immediately left the room. However, he didn't leave. He wanted to see what was coming. After a minute, he saw the 16 or 17-year-old girl walk over. She had a malicious look on her face. She walked to the door and questioned, it's you? Why did you come out? Do you want to save them? Aren't you afraid of being thrown into the frying pan again? When Lu Shuang saw that Shen Yan's voice had become sharp and her expression had become ferocious, he felt a little scared. Shen Yan continued, my friend was scared to death. His face was pale. He seemed to see the girl looking in his direction, so he ran into the hall. But he found that his other classmates were gone. He didn't have time to call them, so he directly opened the door and rushed out. Lu Shuang's face turned pale. Shen Yan, are you telling a horror story? No, it's a real story, Shen Yan corrected. Then, where's your classmate's classmate? Where did he go? Lu Shuang was both afraid and curious. He really wanted to know the answer. My classmate is also very surprised. Where did his classmate go? But he didn't have time to think too much. He rushed out and saw the beggar by the roadside. My friend wanted to run over and ask him if he had seen his classmate. Lu Shuang remembered that it was the beggar he had complained about before. Did you see him? My classmate ran to the beggar and found that the beggar was already a skeleton. It was just that he was wearing a black hoodie, so he didn't see it. My friend was so scared that he ran out of the village. But he found that the road was gone, and he couldn't run out no matter how hard he tried. Lu Shuang shivered and curled up his body. He ran out in the end, right? Otherwise, why would he tell you about this? Shun Yin did not answer directly. He realized that there was no way out, and the sky was getting darker and darker. However, he did not dare to enter the village, so he climbed up a tree. He wanted to find a way out during the day. Just as he climbed up the tree, he saw one of his classmates running towards him. He was also panicking. He immediately jumped down from the tree. My classmate's surname is Li. Even if I tell you his name, you won't know him. Just call him Xiaoli. My classmate told me the name of the classmate who ran over, but I forgot it. Let's call him Xiao Lu. Xiao Lu, are you a man or a woman? Lu Shuang asked. Shen Yin glanced at her. A man. Oh, and then my friend asked him what happened. Xiao Lu said that the three of them were in the living room, and then a painting fell from a wall. You want to pick it up? It was a painting of a girl about 25 or 26 years old. She was quite pretty, and she was wearing modern clothes. It was a light yellow skirt. She also had ribbons, and there was a similar light yellow ribbon around her neck. She looked like a little fairy. Isn't this the girl who was locked in the room? Lu Shuang heard something strange. Yes. When my friend was about to hang the painting up, he found that there was a hole behind the painting. There were ashes and a memorial tablet in the hole, and there was a girl's photo on the memorial tablet, Shen Yin continued. Lu Shuang adjusted her clothes. It was summer, and she felt cold. That girl is dead. My friend hung up the girl's photo and found the photo of the girl who was 16 or 17 years old. In the photo, she was also wearing the ancient dress that she was wearing now. The eyes in the photo seemed to blink. My friend was shocked and thought that he had seen it wrong. So he took the photo down and put it back. There was a hole behind the photo, and the girl's ashes and memorial tablet were placed in the hole. There was a girl's photo on the memorial tablet. The only difference was that someone was burning incense in front of the memorial tablet. Lu Shuang became nervous. It must be a prank. How could it be real? It's not a prank. Pranks are usually used in variety shows or between friends. They got lost and went to Xiangxi village. How could it be a prank? That girl is really dead. Is she a ghost? It can't be. Ghosts are all superstitions. It's not scientific. Maybe the one who died was the girl's sister. She just looked like her. My friend thought so too at first, but he was afraid of being put into a pot of boiling oil. So the two of them discussed and decided to go to other houses to find out what was going on. At the same time, they wanted to look for their lost classmate. So the two of them went back to the village together. They encouraged each other. They took a detour and went to the furthest house. My friend wanted to knock on the door, but his classmates stopped him. He was afraid that the person who opened the door would be an evil spirit. So the two of them opened the door quietly and went in. They were shocked. What happened? Lu Shuang held Shun Yin's hand. Chapter 6:21. Lu Shuang felt creeped out. Shun Yin, stop talking. Your classmate came out in the end, right? You don't want to hear it? Shun Yin looked at her and said. Lu Shuang shook her head. After all, she was still a very young girl at that time. I don't want to hear it. Don't scare me. The village is not far from here, Shun Yin said. Ah! Lu Shuang screamed and hugged Shun Yin's arm. She said pitifully, don't scare me. Shun Yin was very satisfied with Lu Shuang's behavior. She put her arm around her shoulder and said, I'm not scaring you. It's a real thing. I'm still in contact with my classmate. When we go back, I can ask him to tell you. But his other classmates are not so lucky. Are they all dead? Lu Shuang hugged her tighter, her body shivering. Not only are they all dead. Do you remember what I said about the photos on the wall? They're all dead people. They are passers-by who were summoned by the ghosts here. After they died, their souls were imprisoned in those houses and couldn't be released, Shun Yin said seriously. Then how did your classmate get out? Lu Shuang asked. My classmate overturned a mud house. When the house collapsed, the souls inside were released. Some souls helped my classmate find a way out of gratitude. So my classmate escaped, Shun Yin explained. Could it be that your classmate lied to you? Lu Shuang asked, unwilling to give up. I have photos of him and those souls. Do you want me to show them to you? No, Lu Shuang screamed. Last year, I went to the underground palace with my parents. The tour guide said that it was not easy to take photos because the souls would be taken away. That's right. My friend promised those souls that he would bring them out. Then what about those souls? Shen looked behind Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang felt a chill down his spine, and his face was numb. He threw himself into Shen Yin's arms and closed his eyes. Shen Yin smiled happily. Don't be afraid. He showed the jade on his neck to Lu Shuang. Do you see this? It's been blessed. No demons or ghosts can get close to it. Hearing his words, Lu Shuang was even more afraid to leave him. Just like that, he nestled in his arms. He smiled and said, "Sleep. I'm here." For a moment, she didn't find him so annoying. She really had to fall asleep on his lap. The next day, the school teacher and the police found her. It turned out that before Shen Yin came down, he made a circle around the trap and lit a fire. That way, the mosquitoes wouldn't come in. If someone came across it, they would notice that the smoke was a signal for help. At first, she didn't want to come up, worried that the teacher and the police were the ghosts of Xiangxi village. But when she saw Shen Yin smiling at her, she felt at ease and went up. She hugged Shen Yin's arm the whole time and only let go when they were about to reach the camp. The other students arrived safely. When she got home, she had a high fever. She suspected that she had really met a ghost and didn't dare to sleep at night. Shen Yin came to her house and told her that he lied to her. She was so angry that she almost vomited blood. But now that she thought about it, if Shen Yin hadn't been with her that night, she would have been in trouble. Lu Shuang looked up at Shen Yin. He put his arm around her shoulders, kissed her on the cheek, and nibbled on her ear. Lu Shuang shrunk her head and looked at him. She pulled her ear and asked him with her eyes, "What are you doing?" Shen Yin didn't say anything and pressed her head on his lap. She had slept enough today and didn't want to sleep for the time being. She straightened her body and pressed Shen Yin down on her thighs, smiling faintly. Shen Yin didn't refuse. He leaned on her lap and closed his eyes. The sky turned dark suddenly. In the forest, it was so dark that she couldn't see her fingers. There was no light at all. It was very quiet all around. She couldn't tell that there were more than 50 people hiding around. Everyone was very patient and didn't make a sound. Lu Shuang looked around and couldn't help but sigh. She had designed a plan before, but in the end, she didn't even need to use it. No wonder armchair strategists usually died faster in actual combat. There were too many unexpected factors in actual combat. Time passed. She didn't know how long it had been. There was no time here. She vaguely heard footsteps and pushed Shen Yin, who was lying on her lap. Shen Yin signaled her not to speak. She threw a wooden stick and hit the person who came. Lu Shuang could only hear the banging sound and see the red light. There was the smell of limestone in the air. Shen Yin pressed her head. She could feel that there were bullets shooting at her, but their hats didn't make any sound. The enemy Shen Yin chose was really good. The gunshots lasted for 10 minutes and gradually subsided. Lu Shuang didn't know what the situation was now. Was her hat smoking? How many of her people were left? How many of her allies were left? How many of her enemies were killed? How were the others? In this situation, she didn't think she could get out in 42 hours, let alone 24 hours. She was originally a chatterbox. Now she couldn't speak and was a little hungry. Shen Yin covered her mouth. Lu Shuang ate the sweet chocolate. He peeled it when there were gunshots. In that way, the sound of gunshots could cover the sound of peeling chocolate. Lu Shuang looked at Shen Yin gratefully. Even though they were very close, they couldn't even see the outline clearly. In this situation, it wasn't power that depended on, but hearing and alertness. Lu Shuang ate the sweet chocolate and felt that there was nothing to complain about. After all, the chocolate she ate was given by Shen Yin. Shen Yin was still hungry. Time ticked by. Lu Shuang found a comfortable place on the ground and fell asleep on his knees. But he couldn't sleep well. At night, there were 5 fierce battles in succession. He didn't know how the situation was. In the morning, the sky gradually brightened. There was a faint light in the forest, and people could be seen. Shen Yin seemed to be asleep too. He closed his eyes and leaned against the thorns. Wasn't he afraid of being pricked by needles? Lu Shuang gently pulled his hand, and Shen Yin opened his eyes and looked at him. Lu Shuang looked at him and many thoughts flashed through his mind. This guy, why did he come to the jungle to be abused instead of being a president? Was he stupid? Yin was good at everything, except for his bad taste and bad interests. For example, did he like her? Lu Shuang twitched the corner of his mouth. Yin also twitched the corner of his mouth, and they looked at each other and smiled. She saw him smile and was a little angry. He liked to court death. Why did he bring her along? She didn't sleep well last night. People like her usually ate normally and even ate several meals. But now, she didn't eat dinner last night, and she didn't dare to eat breakfast. She was so hungry that her stomach hurt. Chapter 622. She thought about it again. He had brought her here to experience life. After all, he had suffered together with her. Although she did not know what use it would be to her in the future, she felt that there were some strange emotions in her, such as hot blood, excitement, and the desire to try. She smiled again, and Yin smiled with her. It was undeniable that her emotions had a fatal influence on him. Lu Shuang mouthed, "Hungry. Eat. Remember to keep your head down." Yin said, got up, and went out. Lu Shuang did not know where he was going. He wanted to stop him, but heard the sound of gunshots, so he quickly kept his head down. Yin said that he could keep his head down and eat. It was a small matter if his hat smoked, but it was a big matter if he starved to death. After all, he was the one who was hungry, and if his hat smoked, it might be a relief. She touched the bread in her bag and ate it silently. Yin had climbed to a tree not far away from her, and he looked around coldly. Lu Shuang hid in a very good place. The place was full of thorns, which could block bullets and also block people's sight. Moreover, he put a wooden stake in front of the thorns. That was to say, if he wanted to shoot Lu Shuang's hat smoked, he had to get close to him. Lu Shuang was afraid of hunger. If he made any noise, it would definitely attract the attention of the people around him. But there was nothing they could do. After all, she had something to hide. If she lay down, others would know that she was there, and they would not be able to shoot her. However, there would definitely be people who would take the risk and attack her at close range. Therefore, he hid not far away from her and attacked those people who were close to her. As expected, Yin saw someone sneaking over. He shot him, and smoke came out from the top of his head. The other saw that there was an ambush and immediately got down. Yin saw it too and smirked. Another shot, another hit. Everyone knew that it was a trap, so they didn't dare to go there. Lu Shuang, who was used as bait, didn't know what was going on outside. He lowered his head and enjoyed the food. Yin glanced around and vaguely saw some exposed targets. He shot over, and with a bang, another smoke came out. However, his whereabouts were also discovered. He jumped down from the tree, rolled on the ground, and drilled into the thorns. Lu Shuang looked at him and asked, "What's the situation now?" Yin put in the simulated bullets and explained, "One person in your group died, and there are currently 9 survivors. 3 people in your alliance's group died, and there are 7 survivors. 5 people in group 3 died, and there are 5 survivors. Of the 10 people in group 17, 5 came, and 4 died, and there is 1 survivor." "How do you know which team they are from?" Lu Shuang was surprised. "There's a logo on the hat on their head. According to the color, it is also the logo to distinguish the teams." Lu Shuang suddenly understood. He was wondering how they could distinguish the teams when they all wore the same clothes and the same color. It turned out that their hats were different. "Which team are we in?" "The last group, 27. Red, yellow, blue, green, cyan, purple, black, white, and gray. According to the serial number, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The left side of our hats is yellow, and the right side is black," Yin reminded. Lu Shuang stared at Yin's hat. Yin tapped her forehead. "I belong to Group 1, so it is only red just above the screen." Lu Shuang saw it and understood. He said, "You said that there are 5 people in Group 17. Where are the other 5? "I don't know. There are more than these groups here. There are 19 groups, 23 groups, and 25 groups." Lu Shuang counted with his fingers. "That is to say, there are a total of 7 groups and 70 people here. Maybe we can get all the flags. It's not that easy. They are in a stalemate now. I only got the flags of Group 3. Lu Shuang was surprised. You got the flags of Group 3? How did you do it? The commander of Group 3 was killed yesterday. His team wanted to get the flags back, but I got there first, Xinyan explained. Lu Shuang remembered that he had left alone yesterday. So it was to get the flag. So, those dead people are lying still because they might have flags on them to confuse others, right? Shen Yin nodded. Something like that. Then when can they leave? I mean, those dead people? Shen Yin looked at her deeply. When the battle here is over, they can leave. Beep, beep, beep. The siren was very loud outside. Lu Shuang frowned. What is that? Supplies, Shen Yin said simply. Just as Shen Yin said that, they heard old Zhou's voice. It was through the drone. Supplies are in place. Supplies are in place. Uninhabited island at latitude and longitude 1235, 23 feet 35 inches, 4762. Attention, attention. Supplies are in place. Uninhabited island at latitude and longitude 12 feet 35 inches, 2335, 47 feet 62 inches. Lu Shuang looked at Shen Yin. Do you know how to get to those places? Shen Yin took out a compass from her bag. There were coordinates on it. This compass was specially made. It was not based on the latitude and longitude of the world. Instead, it was based on the uninhabited island. They had a special way of measuring it. To put it simply, they converted the surface of the uninhabited island into the shape of a ball and expanded it. Are the supplies referring to food? Lu Shuang asked. Not just that. There are food, drinks, bullets, and smoke grenades, Shen Yin explained. Then, are we going to get it or not? If we go and get it, it will be a fierce battle. If we don't, we will starve and not have enough bullets. However, this is the center of the battle. No one dares to act rashly, Shen Yin analyzed. So, I feel that whether it is a drill or a real battle, there is an element of luck. If we're near the food, we could be the first to rush over and get the food. Moreover, we can also set up traps. It won't be like this, where we are in a stalemate, Lu Shuang sighed. Luck is something that can be looked at but not obtained. Only strength can be improved. Stay here and don't move. I will go and get you food, Shen Yin said in a deep voice. After Shen Yin left, Lu Shuang was a little afraid. Didn't I say not to be more than a meter away from you? You're making things difficult for me. Shen Yin smiled. Do you want me to accompany you or go and get you food? I want to ask you. Maybe the other teams have already gotten a map. After all, it has been a night. If the 5 teams get the flags first, is there a need for us to continue? If the 5 teams get the flags, they will lose if they continue fighting. After all, there are only 5 winners. Of course, there is no need to continue. But we won't know even if they win. Lu Shuang was worried. It will be reported. We will know. Beep, 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 beep. The police siren sounded again. Hello, everyone. I am Qin Tangdang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 6:23. Quick, quick. Team 2 was completely wiped out and eliminated in advance. Lu Shuang understood. Even if they were completely wiped out, we should still report it. Besides, Team 2 is not here. So, other places are actually fighting just like here, right? Shen Yin nodded. How long will this drill last? Lu Shuang felt uncomfortable. Maybe 10 days to half a month. Lu Shuang, who said that would only take a few hours. What if it rains? It often rains in the forest. Lu Shuang asked. There should be flu and anti-inflammatory medicine in the supplies. Maybe there will be umbrellas and tents. Lu Shuang. She thought about her hat again and complained, Why did you insist on me participating in the drill? Do you not want to see me doing well? I've only been relaxing for a few days. I haven't even played that game properly. You said that it will be next Monday. What's the use of next Monday? Next Monday, I can't get out of here. Shen Yin scratched her nose. You will benefit from the drill. Stay here. Your teammates will protect you. Remember, you must lie down, understand? She could only nod. Shen Yin walked out of her, and Lu Shuang continued to lie down. Hopefully, they would be lucky and end it soon. Yin said that she would benefit from the drill and give her what she wanted the most. To be honest, apart from revenge, she didn't know what she wanted the most. She didn't have a goal in her life. If she had to pick one, she would muddle along and be happy and relaxed every day. The people she loved and liked were just as happy and relaxed as she was. Did that count? Gunshots came from outside from time to time. It sounded particularly intense. With a bang, it flew over her head and hit the tree behind her. The sound was extraordinarily loud. It was different from the previous bangs. It seemed that the decibel and speed of the gunshots were several times higher. Then, the gunshots were all fired at her. It was a loud bang. It didn't seem to be a simple gunshot. The thorns around her were ignited. Lu Shuang was so scared that he wanted to run out from under the thorns. Anyway, it was just smoke coming out of his hat, and he would not really die. This is the real deal. An enemy has snuck in. Everyone, be careful, someone shouted. Lu Shuang's face turned pale with fear. It was actually a real weapon. No wonder she felt that the bullets were different. This time, it wasn't that her hat was smoking, but that she was really going to die. She lay on her stomach and covered her head, not daring to move at all. A masked mercenary came towards her quickly with a real gun in his hand. Zhu Jiang rushed over and fought with the enemy. With a bang, he was hit in the arm by a real bullet, and his body was covered in blood as he was flung away. Only then did they realize that there was a sniper hiding in the shadows. Lu Shuang remembered that he had a real gun in his pocket, so he quickly took it out and took out the walkie-talkie. He said anxiously, "Yin, I have real bad guys here. They have real guns. I'm scared. Come back quickly." Yin did not make a sound. Lu Shuang was even more scared, worried that he was also in danger. A masked man walked in front of her and raised his gun. Lu Shuang knew that she was definitely going to die. Yin's face flashed in her mind. If he had known that she would die in this drill, would he still have brought her here? Debao's face also flashed in her mind. Debao would be very pitiful without a mother. She also thought that Hua Zixing should be a gentle person who would treat her baby well. With a bang, the masked man was shot in the head, and he fell straight down in front of her. Lu Shuang looked at the dead masked man in surprise. Was Yin back? If only she had Bai Ye's courage. Bai Ye would definitely not be afraid. Last time, when she was assassinated in the villa on the island, it was all because of Bai Ye that she was able to escape danger. What should she do? What should she do? She saw another masked man rolling in front of her, raising his gun and pointing it at her. She screamed in fright and fired at the masked man, not caring if she could hit him or not. The masked man also fired at her. She seemed to have been shot, right in the position of her heart. It was very painful, and she fell to the ground. Seeing that she had been shot, the masked man closed his eyes and passed out. Beep, 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 beep. The siren sounded again. Attention all soldiers! Attention all soldiers! There are foreign mercenaries breaking into the island. Stop the drill! Stop the drill! Change to invisible tags. We will definitely catch the foreign invaders. We will definitely catch the foreign invaders. There's also a masked man approaching. It's Lu Shuang, but there seems to be a hidden sniper. With a bang, he killed the man in front of him. The invisible soldiers also looked at each other, not knowing what was going on. There seemed to be two groups of mercenaries on the island. One group of mercenaries wanted to kill Lu Shuang, and the other group wanted to protect Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang caught her breath, sat up, and looked at her heart. Although she had been shot, and it was very painful, she was fine. She was probably wearing a fireproof vest. No wonder Yin told her to protect her head. Don't move. Don't move. Don't stop me. My mission is to protect Lu Shuang, the mercenary said in English. Lu Shuang wanted to poke her head out to look, but she was afraid and didn't dare to. She couldn't die. She was afraid of dying. She quickly covered her head with her hands, lay on the ground, and didn't move. She didn't know what Yin was doing now and when he would come back. She would only feel more at ease when he was here. A mercenary with his face covered saw that they were looking at another mercenary, so he quickly ran towards Lu Shuang. When he was about 10 meters away from Lu Shuang, he suddenly stopped and touched his neck. A syringe was shot into his neck. His eyes turned black. He staggered a few steps and fell to the ground. The soldiers looked at the mercenary again. The leader of the masked mercenaries saw that they had fallen into an ambush. Now that he was the only one left in his team, he could only retreat. He turned around and was shocked to see Shan Yin standing in front of him. Shan Yin was standing behind him without anyone noticing. He had caught all of his men in one fell swoop. Could it be that he had left on purpose to let them think that they had a chance? Shan Yin smiled. There were 5 of you, and now you're the only one left. You know that you can't run away. The person who hired you can't protect you either. The only one who can protect you is me. I won't betray the person who hired me, even if it means death, the masked man said firmly. Very well, but I don't like things that are beyond my control. Within 24 hours, the information of your friends, lover, parents, and children will be in my hands. I'm not a merciful person. You should know that. Since you don't want to expose the person behind you, then you will be responsible for the death of my woman's parents. Chapter 6:24. The calmer he was, the more people felt that he was telling the truth, because his cold eyes were filled with murderous intent. I'll take responsibility for my own actions. The mercenary leader was scared. His forehead was covered in sweat. You don't have the right to do that. Either tell me who hired you, and I'll give you 10 million, and you can quit being a mercenary and live a good life with your family. Or, I'll let your family reunite with you in hell. Of course, you don't have much time to think about it. You have a companion who was knocked out by me. He might confess before you do, Shan Yin said coldly. The masked mercenary took off his mask. His face was slightly pale. It seemed like he had no other choice. I don't know his exact identity. We've been communicating through emails and phone calls. I received a notice yesterday that he asked me to come to this island and kill Lu Xuan. If the information you provide is of no use to me, I can only let you reunite with your family in hell. Shan Yin curled up the corner of his mouth and looked at him coldly. The masked mercenary clenched his teeth and made up his mind. He appeared when I was on a mission in England. He shot and killed Lu Xuan's mother. I took a photo of him and followed him. I know that he registered himself as Chang Junshuo in the hotel. Chang Junshuo? You know that they always use fake identities when they go out. Don't be like toothpaste that need me to squeeze a little and tell you something. I know that you know more than this, Shan Yin said with certainty. She looked at the mercenary leader with an oppressive gaze. The masked mercenary leader thought for a while. Will you really let me go if I tell you? Of course. Since you're not the murderer, killing you won't do me any good. If I break my promise to you, how can I cooperate with others? Shan Yin said with certainty. When he returned to Country A, he used the name Yuan Cheng on his passport. I traced it through his IP address. The owner is called Chang Jiang. He has a girlfriend called Lang Zi. He also used Lang Zi's account to transfer money to me. Later, I found out that he seemed to be related to you, Invisible Big Shots. He's the illegitimate son of a big shot. That's all I know. After all, he's just my hired servant, not the target of my investigation. Which big shot? Shan Yin asked. Well, I don't know. Then how did you know that he was the illegitimate son of some big shot? Shan Yin narrowed her eyes. First of all, he's always been wearing formless clothes, so he probably worships formless a lot. Secondly, one day when we were chatting, he picked up a phone call and called out Dad. Then he said darkly, "Be careful in formless. I'll do my job well." Doesn't that mean that he has a father in formless? But how would an invisible person dare to send his own son? He could also be an adopted son, right? Shan Yin raised a question. Yes, that's possible. Where are the photos? Shan Yin asked. The masked mercenary took out his phone and handed it to Shan Yin. Shan Yin took it from him. A murderous look flashed across the masked mercenary's eyes. He stabbed the knife at Shan Yin. Shan Yin dodged the knife alertly and injected the needle into the masked mercenary's neck artery. The mercenary didn't expect Shan Yin to be so skilled. He slowly knelt on the ground and fainted. Shan Yin walked out and went to the captured mercenary. She looked at his face and confirmed that he was sent by Baiya. She said in a deep voice, "Let them go. We haven't completed the mission yet. We can't leave. the mercenary replied. She won't participate in the drill. She'll leave now. Don't worry and go back. I'll talk to Baya, Yin said. The mercenary paused and looked at Kuan, who was hiding in the dark. Kuan walked out and stood in front of Yin. You arranged everything, didn't you? I'll protect my own people. You found her at 10:20 last night, right? Yin smiled. She knew their operation like the back of her hand. Luckily, my mission wasn't to deal with you. Otherwise, my team would have been wiped out like Yan's, Kuan said. You know him? Yin was curious. Yan's team is quite famous in our circle. Their success rate is 99%. You are one of those 1%, Kuan sighed. If someone asks you to deal with me, please reject the deal with your friend. If you can do me a favor, I won't disappoint you, Yin said with a smile. All right, Kuan agreed and clapped his hands. The other 3 members of his team walked out. Let's go, Kuan said. Sir, what should we do now? Chung Mingho asked. Since it's an invisible drill, let the invisible people continue. We won't participate. I have other things for you to do, Yin said coldly. Yes. Lu Shuang actually heard what Yin said, but Yin didn't allow her to come out, so she didn't dare to come out. Yin went to her and pulled her out. When Lu Shuang saw him, she knew that she was safe. She hugged him with lingering fear, but thinking that there were many invisible people around, she immediately let go of him and flattered him in a businesslike manner. Thank you, Mr. President, for protecting this subordinate. This subordinate will do her best to be loyal to Mr. President. You have to do your best to be loyal? Yin mulled over this sentence meaningfully. Lu Shuang pursed her lips and slapped his arm, signaling him not to take advantage of her and to stop before going too far. Yin smiled and said to the camera, Group 27 is out of the game. The others continue. Beep, 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 beep. Zhou received the order and was also shocked. He had followed Yin for many years and knew Yin was good at strategizing, but he didn't expect that the drill was completely under Yin's control. They even caught a few mercenaries. If he didn't guess wrong, the mercenaries this time were hired by the invisible people. Otherwise, they wouldn't only target Lu Shuang. Lao Yao was taken away after the last assassination. He probably couldn't see the sun anymore. Why didn't they stop the assassination? If they didn't handle it well, the invisible people might feel disappointed. They might think that the president loved beauties more than the country. But if they didn't handle it, it would damage the president's dignity. It was difficult. Chapter 625. Yin came to the commander of Team 1 and returned his hat to him, changing it to Lu Shuang's hat. At the same time, he passed the 2 flags to him and patted his shoulder. The commander of Team 1 was in awe and saluted Yin. He did not know when the president had gotten the flags. How did he do it in such a chaotic situation? Yin smiled. She was graceful, elegant, and had the confidence and arrogance of the Shun family. She called Old Zhou and said, Send a plane to longitude 16/27. Yes, Old Zhou replied. Glancing at the masked mercenary lying on the ground, Yin ordered, Guards of the 27th team, those who are alive and those who are injured, follow me. As for the other members of the 27th team, deal with the corpses on the ground and gather at the base. Yes, the team members saluted. Yin walked in front. Lu Shuang immediately followed behind Yin and asked in confusion, Why did we suddenly stop the drill? Yin looked at him and said, I have a gift. Of course, I don't want you to work so hard. What gift? Lu Shuang was confused. I have found the person who killed your mother. Yin smiled and said in a low voice. Lu Shuang's mouth opened in shock. Really? When? Who? Is it in your mind? You can say that. Yin looked a little sad. I need to think about it, but I will definitely give you an explanation. I owe you this. Lu Shuang looked at Yin and felt a warm and wet feeling in his heart. When she followed Yin, she figured out why Yin insisted that she participate in the drill. He deliberately gave others a chance to assassinate her. Only when others assassinated her could he accurately catch those people. When he went to get the supplies later, He deliberately gave those people a chance to take advantage of. In fact, he had already set up a trap. When he said that he would give her the gift she wanted the most, he really wanted to take revenge for her. It turned out that he was not joking. He really wanted to help her get revenge. It seemed that he really had her in his heart. Otherwise, he would not have gone through so much trouble to mobilize all the invisible people. She did not have high ambitions. She wanted to find an ordinary man who did not need to be too handsome or have a good figure. She also wanted to have an ordinary job. As long as it was stable, she did not need to make a lot of money, have a pair of cute children, and live an ordinary life. But now, to her, Shunyin seemed to be the most perfect person in the world, except that he had a bad temper and was married. He was so handsome that he could turn the world upside down. He was an aristocrat who had received an upper-class education. He had a good figure, a good brain, and was resourceful. Other than standing at the peak of power, he had agile skills and meticulous thinking. He also had a listed company behind him and was rich enough. Her family's DeBayo had his genes, so he had already revealed the wisdom of a genius. For the continuation of the next generation, it seemed like it would be good for her to have another child with him. Seeing that she was thinking about something, Shun Ian stopped. Lu Shuang was not careful. He bumped into her and jumped away. You did on purpose? Look at the road. Where are your eyes? Shun Ian reminded him. I was thinking about something. Lu Shuang explained. Oh, what are you thinking about? Tell me. Shun Ian stood beside her. She would not tell him what she was really thinking about. If Baya's people hadn't come to save me, I might have been dead. I'm a little hesitant now. Should I forgive her? Lu Shuang lowered his eyes and said. Shun Ian really wanted to hold her hand, but after all, there were still formless and the guards behind them. Among these people, some were not even his confidants. He held back and said in a low voice, Then you have to ask your heart. If Baya was the one in trouble today, what would you do? If Baya was in trouble, she would help her. After all, she used to be her best friend, but she still felt uncomfortable and touched. Back then, Baya was willing to sacrifice her love for her. Lu Shuang's eyes were a little red. I want to forgive her, but I don't know if we will become the friends we used to be. Let's take one step at a time. Well, I will support your decision. Let's go to the rest stop first. The rest stop that Shun Ian mentioned was at latitude and longitude 1627. There was a house and an empty space there. When they arrived, the plane had already arrived. The guards moved the masked mercenaries onto the plane and tied them up. Shun Ian stepped on the plane and wanted to pull Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang supported himself with both hands and climbed up. Shun Ian sat down on the seat, and Lu Shuang also sat down next to him. Looking at the tied masked mercenaries, perhaps he was too hungry, or perhaps he was distracted, but he couldn't think of food. No need to go to the base. Fly back directly, Shun Ian ordered. His fingers rhythmically tapped on his legs, and he stared at the mercenaries thoughtfully. The plane took off. It was a small plane, and the roar was very loud. Lu Shuang didn't sleep well at night. He leaned against the wall of the plane and fell asleep in a short while. When she woke up, she was already in a warm bed. She got up and found that Shun Ian was not by her side. She went to the bathroom to take a shower and put on fresh clothes. Hua Zixing was at home. She smiled at her. Thank you for the drill. You didn't wake up no matter how I called you. You must be hungry. I'll get the kitchen to prepare some snacks for you. Oh, what time is it? The more I sleep, the more I want to sleep. The more I sleep, the more I can't get out of bed. Lu Shuang scratched his head in embarrassment. It's 2 in the afternoon. Let's eat something first. Hua Zixing said gently and instructed Nangong Yu beside her, get the kitchen to heat up the food. Where's Shun Ian? Lu Shuang looked around and didn't see Shun Ian. He should be at work at this time. Normally, he would only be back at 6 or 7 at night. This time, he caught 2 mercenaries. I heard that they wanted to assassinate you. Are you okay? Hua Zixing asked with concern. Lu Shuang shook his head. I'm fine, but Zhu Jiang is injured. I haven't asked Shun Ian how he is now. Eat in peace. When Ian comes back, you can ask him. If there's anything, you can look for me. I'm on the 3rd floor. Hua Zixing said with a smile. She turned around and walked to the 3rd floor. She lowered her face, and a cold gaze flashed across her eyes. She arranged the flowers several times, but was not satisfied. She took out all the flowers and hit the table hard. The petals scattered all over the floor. She took a deep breath and looked ahead coldly. After adjusting her emotions, she threw the flowers into the trash can. She used a broom to sweep the petals on the table and floor clean and threw them into the trash can. In the room, she tied the trash bag in a knot. Nan Gong Yu came in and saw her changing the trash bag. She walked over worriedly. You sent people to assassinate him, right? You still can't hold it in. Hello, everyone. I'm Chin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.